That's good.
Welcome back to Dance's End. This is session 3, titled Mouths and Mushrooms. Last session, the group entered into a secret grotto where they have found very strange copies of a recently deceased dwarf. After informing law enforcement, they decided to go back to the scene of the crime and re-enter into the space. Um, they have returned to the grotto. They have found a hole in the ground which seems to lead down into a place where much larger mushrooms are present. And they also learned that there is some sort of creature guarding a very mushroomed area in the space. Now, before we get into your potential ambush of the creature, I just want to note a couple of things before that happens. Currently, you are in the spore area. You have all passed a saving throw against the spores. Is that correct? Means you are
Yeah.
immune to it for the next 24 hours, and you've been in contact with it for, I would say, maybe a few hours because you left after your first catch of it. Okay,
Yep.
great. So, at this point, let me explain to you the nature of the structure that you're moving towards to ambush the creature, just so you understand. The steps ascend about 8 feet. Because of the sloping of the platform at the top of those steps, and the nature of the creature being more low and spread than kind of standing up like an idiot, there is really no way to get a line of sight on it unless you are standing on the very last step. So basically, this step here.
Mm.
If you do not wish to attack it from this vector, you do see that there appears to be another cavern here, which is probably inside of the larger room. When you were scanning around that area, it looks like that area is blocked off by one of the large ruby caps. And you'd also note that the spores are so isolated in that area that it looks like all of the kind of latticey mushrooms on the ground are covered like with it. And it also has like a much brighter yellow coloration to the spores. So with that being said, if you attack it, it doesn't seem to move very fast, or it hasn't done so yet. If you wish to engage it, range attacking it will prove a bit difficult, but not impossible.
How tall is that rock though?
Great question. So it goes up about 20 feet, and the ceiling in this space is about 25 feet. This goes up about 8 feet, and the archway into this space is only about 8 feet off of the top of that. So if you were firing
Okay.
down, you'd be
Yeah.
basically firing into, because the structure or the area you're in and the area over here are kind of higher ceilings, like I mentioned.
Right.
The space that it's in, lower ceilings. So if you're up
Right.
on the rock, you'll be able to shoot it if it's in the stairs, but you won't be able to shoot it through the portal way.
Okay. Thank you.
Good thought, though. One, I was like, no one's gonna think about this. Why am I even like mind gaming it? Why did I write this?
It came up.
It came up.
Before we start potentially ambushing it, can I go over here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to
So, like I was
see.
saying, like around it, and I'll go ahead and before you move too much, I'm gonna mark off a space around it. Hold on a second here.
Oh, okay. I'll move back.
Absolutely fine. So that yellow square, four-sided shape that I drew, that is the area where the yellow spores seem to be the heaviest. So these are different than the just regular spores that you've been seeing from the ruby caps. And it also seems to be lingering and present. If you'd like, you can make either a survival or a nature check to determine what that might be.
Yes,
Where is that square?
please. Over here.
Oh, I can't see that from my.
It's okay.
Got
You
it.
said survival or nature?
Your choice. Depending on what you roll, depends on the information you get. Nature is more lore-based. Survival is more kind of understanding
Yeah.
the situation as it stands.
Survival is what we'll probably be looking at right
Okay.
now.
So-
18.
From what it looks like, this is a type of mold. A mold you're not familiar with, but based on its color, it's presumably yellow mold. Molds are typically things that are, when touched or when disturbed, will kind of cause them to aerate, and then they can be problematic for someone breathing, which means that you've got a pretty decent protection, but not a flawless one.
Yeah.
But it could also be skin contact for some molds, and they typically
Right.
cause pain, irritation. They can cause swelling if they're ingested. Not great.
Cool. I will say don't go that way. And then come back over here. Do we still want to attack it, or maybe it's hungry?
Throw it some food.
I mean, it's just hanging out in its space. It's not coming after you or anything.
Yeah.
It does look like there's stuff in the kind of latticey mushroom in that area that looks like it might be interesting. There are a couple of what look to be gemstones that are kind of present in the space. Or it could just be glowing mushrooms that you're not familiar with. Very just uncertain about a lot of what's going on in there.
Do
But
we
it
get the
does-
sense that
sounds...
Go ahead.
its place is kind of its lair?
Yeah, it could be the case.
It's just wandered. Can we see bones like
Nope.
animal or humanoid bones in there
It's
at
just
all?
a bunch of fucking mushrooms.
Mhm.
Mouths and mushrooms.
Okay.
Well,
Same title as a sex joke.
You got it. Well done.
Isn't it?
No, I didn't mean it for that. I just read that out of the chat. Sorry. Some absolute madman was posting that in the chat.
Oh no.
But I didn't
Okay,
think
go
about
ahead.
it, and yeah, I guess it is. So, how do you want to do this?
Well, definitely interested in the possible weird mushrooms, possible gems. Either way, it's a win.
Yeah.
Are we gonna
Are-
fight it?
Ari will follow the lead of the siblings.
I mean, Jermaine looks at Granny and says, I mean, we made it. We did a poll and everything.
I
We
know.
we could change our minds. That's fine. But,
Yeah.
I mean, but you
It-
know.
We did do the poll like right after the game,
Mhm.
so
You've had time to back down from it,
Yeah.
cower out of it.
Well, it's not so much carrying. It's
No,
just,
I'm
it's
trying to
like-
bait you. It's okay, Andy. Don't.
Oh, I know you are. You're going after Liz real hard with those gems,
Oh,
and she's taking the bit.
mushrooms.
She's taking
or
the bait.
possible mushrooms.
She's
taking the
Possible
bait.
mushrooms.
That-
She's gonna get that scout badge. We haven't even talked about scout badges.
fair
but-
enough. But
There are apple tarts in there.
as far as mushrooms go, the widest
What about an apple strudel?
the widest differentiation of mushroom types has been in this cave.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, it's been kind of like ruby caps, the fluorescent ones. So it seems like this definitely does pose a level of interest here, but whether or not you wish to engage it or not is up to you. And then, of course, there's the hole in the ground, and then there's like a couple of different segments that you haven't been to yet, in and around the hole.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of where you want to go. And I'll widen out so we can get a kind of image of that, because
So Tremaine's big question would be whether or not this thing would be a threat to others that wandered into this space inadvertently.
most likely would be, based on the fact that the teeth look like they're made out of razor blades, and it just looks like it consumes all.
We did lock the door this time.
Nice job.
We did.
Nice job, us. But in that case, he sort of redoubles his commitment to this and says, I think we need to.
You step forward up onto the steps to kind of lead the group because it seems like they need someone to motivate and move forward.
So
Sure.
I must step onto the steps in order to face it.
Courage. Yeah, if you're stepping into the arena for combat, then I need you to just the closest you can get will be here, and that's where we'll start the fight effectively.
You got it.
And then once Tormain is positioned, everyone else needs to go ahead and position themselves for the fight.
I think. Is this like a stalagmite?
So it would be stalagmite, yeah, mites from the ground, tights from the ceiling.
Yeah, because
Right.
it might reach the ceiling.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
nice.
that's never the way I. Mite is like a muscle coming up, and then tight's like it's hanging tight to the ceiling.
Oh, my grandpa told me
It might reach the
stalagmite, it might reach the ceiling. A stalactite holds tight to the ceiling.
So we got the same for the last one, but
Yeah.
fair enough.
But how, like, could it be used for, like, cover?
Sure, if it has range attacks, but once it gets to melee, a melee situation, it's not going to be a big deal. As
Fair.
far as you
Before
can
we
see, it doesn't look like it has any method for range attacks. Sorry, Shisho, go ahead.
before we pop off, can I bless everyone?
Blast lasts for 1 minute, so you'll probably want to use that right when the fighting starts, so you don't lose any kind of words on
Okay,
it.
so don't lose rounds.
Yeah, because timing will be if you cast bless, then that's when the fight will start. Technically, if you want to do that, but that means that initiative for these purposes won't be terribly important.
And I have a paladin newbie question.
Yeah.
Shield of Faith lasts for how long?
10 minutes, I believe.
So I would
Oh, I need to
do
turn
Shield of Faith
advantage
now.
off.
Okay, and this is you have 2 spell slots at first level. Is that right?
Let me check.
Because you
This
used
is
one
on it.
today.
I haven't used any. This would be my first spell, Shield of
No,
Faith. So I
incorrect,
have one
because you
more.
cast-
One more first.
You cast Shield
Say
of
again?
Faith earlier today. You cast it when you bought the choker.
My second then. My second spell. Yeah,
Okay. And then you only have 2 slots at first level, right?
that's right. Nothing left. I just have cantrips
Cool.
now.
Drain. And then who else needs to listen spell slot? I know the little warlock refreshes them on short rests, so you already have yours back. Go ahead and roll initiative for me, both. And I'll get some combat music up.
Excellent. Good rolls. Good rolls.
Do need to double check what the language is on Ranger. There it is.
Okay.
Okay, I can cast it twice without spending a spell slot and regain all. Okay.
Hunter's Mark is fine.
Yeah,
Presume that's
I
always
was just
going to be
double
something.
checking.
Yeah, that one's. I don't know why it's a castable. It should just be. They did. Never mind, I won't get into it. So around a year
That's weird.
first, Tormain steps up onto the platform, and it'll explain what happens when that happens. The mouthers low to the ground, and the mouths are kind of just. At the moment that the step kind of like comes up, all of the mouths kind of shift in the liquid form towards that angle of it, and then the eyes are in the back, kind of poke up a little bit to look at him. It looks like it is engaged, so it's not caught off guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you get the first go.
Yeah. So we're gonna step right here, and then Hunter's Market, and just for my.
We'll go ahead and
stuff,
say green for you.
Huh?
Green for your color.
And then we're gonna longbow it.
Yeah.
12.
12 will. Hold on. That's weird. The token's goofy. That'll hit. So
Okay.
hitting this
Yeah.
thing as you kind of like shoot the arrow into it to just give you kind of an explanation to its reactionary technique. It is the broadside of a barn. It's basically the size of a person. Hold on a second.
Is it Shimp?
Nope.
Oh.
It's the most important person.
Naylin?
No.
Oh, wife.
Yourself? Oh, okay.
She. I was like, wait, person.
Never
That's the
me. I'm a
wife.
dungeon master. What the fuck? Again, to the reactionary skills of this thing. When you shoot an animal, when you're hunting or when you're fighting an individual and you shoot them, there's kind of a level of like reaction, right? They'll dodge or they'll kind of like raise up their defenses, or if they're like heavily armored, they'll kind of turn their body to it. This thing does not seem to care that you just shot an arrow at it. It doesn't move. It hits it straight into the thing. There's no like symbolization of pain or anything. It just like you shot into like a pudding, and it's not really like reacting to it.
Right.
But it still takes damage. It doesn't look like you've harmed it. You've torn its
Yeah.
flesh of
I
it.
hit him for 4.
Impossible. You hunter smart. Whoa, shit! You did roll 2 dice and get a 4. No, you didn't. You rolled a 1 and you added 3 with your.
Yeah, dexterity bonus.
You got to roll a d6. Hunter smart does an extra d6.
Oh, okay.
There might be a
8
clickable.
then.
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
trying to find it.
It's like down below all the weapons. I think it was for sneak attack. so-
Down below. Would it be like under effect name?
I don't know. It would. Again, I don't know precisely. Just take a gander at it. Do you wish to
Okay.
remain where you're at, or
Well-
move back down the steps?
Oh, move back.
So bonus action,
Thank you.
movement,
And then-
all of that, engage.
Yeah, that's it.
And I don't know if the fork's in there, so you're gonna have to figure that out. Oh, you want it? I don't know if that'll work for the chicken, but okay. They gave you that on the chicken. Okay, Randy done. Soul, you are up. Sacred Flame. Oh gosh. Dexterity saving throws my one weakness. Oh.
I figured it was not very quick.
Maybe intelligence saves.
Ignore this. I'm gonna try something.
Okay, so yeah, less than 13. Let me see that damage. Okay.
Then
Alright.
skittering back down the stairs.
You kind of step out, flash of light pounds into it from above, inside of its little kind of cavern structure, and that's it. Tormain, you're up.
Yep, we're going to also fire a longbow at it.
Okay, so you do not have your shield out. Got it.
Right, so can you tell me, but actually before that all happens, if I wanted to switch to board and sword after the
Yeah, we're
longbow,
going
would it
Solasta
take...
rules. So if you fire the bow and then afterwards switch to melee, you're going to have sword and board up. So basically, you'll fire the bow off, and then whoosh, you have the sword and shield up.
And then for the next turn, if I wanted to go...
You'll need to do something with the sword and shield, or if you don't want to do anything with the sword and shield, put it away, bring out the bow and shoot, but you can't switch back at the end of that turn. You'll have to do it at the beginning of the next. So this very
Got it.
first turn allows you to kind of loose an arrow and be ready for the charge.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Okay, go ahead and throw that bow attack. It's also Baldur's Gate 3 rules, by the way. And I think,
7?
yeah, shields no longer have the, it takes an action to put it on.
That's
anymore.
awesome. I love that.
11 hits. Let's see the damage.
And then in addition, the weapon master...
You have mastery of the longbow, right?
Yeah.
That is the wrong weapon, mastery.
Oh,
Hold on.
right, hold on. It's this one.
Okay.
It's slow. If you hit a creature with its weapon and deal damage to it, you can
Minus
reduce
10
its
feet.
speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn.
Fun.
So hopefully we're slowing it down even more.
All right, you're up. Unless you have anything after switching weapons.
Yes.
Okay, well now I don't know if I want to bless if it's so easy to hit.
Oh yeah, it's got an AC of 9.
Well, does Bless work on saving throws too?
Yeah,
Do that. It's gonna.
but is it gonna make us do saving throws?
I would be betting that it would. It just is too easy.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and pop bless. I'll do it with my acolyte feature. So I won't lose a spell slot. And that's my turn.
Okay. Let's see.
And it's on all of you.
Okay. Bless you.
Uh-huh. Got it. And then... Okay. It will start babbling louder and louder. The echo of the cavern causes this to become maddening in your ears. This is not an action, it is focusing it. So at the start of its initiative, I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw.
And we add the d4, right?
Yeah, those of you that are blessed, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
And
you're
who's
right.
blessed?
Everybody but me.
Gotcha. Okay. So then, what was your favorite color again? Purple?
Perp.
Alright.
I'm sorry, what kind of save?
Oh, Wiz.
Wisdom.
What you needed.
I get one more
Where's
left.
the
Exactly what you
save?
needed.
Oh,
That's exactly
wisdom.
what you...
Oh, we need it right now. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wisdom saving throw. Yep. Okay. And don't worry about rolling your bless because nothing you can roll will save. It's 11 DC. Okay, so
Mine saved.
yeah, I said exactly on the nose. So this
Sorry, Tom.
gibbering creature, due to its now echoing gibbering, it seems to cause you in your mind to kind of like falter a bit. You cannot take reactions until the start of your next turn, and on your turn you're going to roll a d8. The d8 will determine what you do on your turn.
Poop your pants.
You see it try to kind of move and yield towards you, but you see that like the arrow that was fired by Tourmaine kind of seems to hit like in the middle and kind of hold it in place, like it's pinned to the ground. So it cannot move because its speed is 10 and now it's 0.
Yes.
Instead, what it does is, as its action, it will start swelling. So this is not movement, it's just kind of flushing itself out a bit. And its form seems to kind of grow a bit. It's still the core form, but there's like liquid and like tendrils and mouths that are kind of growing around it.
Oh shit.
So it'll start off with 50-foot radius. And we'll do kind of a reddish color for it. They start kind of ingesting mushrooms as it's kind of spreading out, and you can see it's kind of just like, it's almost like a puddle of blood, just kind of like with mouths and eyes kind of popping out of it instead of like water would do. That's it. That's all I can do. Ronnie, you're up.
Well, she's slightly disturbed. So we are gonna hope that our longbow
Yeah, you also have
hits again.
mastery on longbow, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I should.
Just
So the
slow it down.
combination of arrows, it's like somebody took Nickelodeon GAC and like threw it on a pin board, and then pinned it.
Yeah,
That's what we're looking at. 9 will hit.
9. Oh,
Whoa.
alright, let's see if this damage thing works. I clicked it.
The button on the chat did work for me, but if I clicked the damage on my character sheet, it rolled it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, weird.
That's not working either. Hold on, let me close it and then reopen. Feels familiar, like, oh look! Oh wait, there we go, there we go. It's like Tuesday was having issues too.
I'm not in the mood for that right now.
No.
Oh,
She's
we are
just
not allowed to
fucking
have
great.
issues. No one.
Okay, it worked whenever I clicked off the effect, so I'm just gonna have to roll the d6.
Okay.
Was it d6 for Hunter's Mark,
That's
right?
right.
Big
Okay,
money.
got a 4. So
9 total,
9.
and its speed's reduced by 10. Okay, Ronnie done. Soul, you are up.
Oh, and I back up 1.
Okay, you can now take reactions, and you rolled a 6. Cool. Roll another d8.
Uh-oh.
What's your speed?
It's just 30.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, shit.
Soul, panic, the hood down, just starts rushing forward. And once you enter into the mouths, go ahead and make a strength saving throw. Okay,
Good
so
job.
the mouths and like the eyes and tendrils kind of like grasp at the ankles, and you kind of force your legs free. Your speed is not reduced to 0 while you're in that area. Okay, Tormain, you've got the sword, you've got the shield. You can see that the creature is not bleeding at all. The current pincushion technique is working, but Soul will definitely receive an attack unless something takes its interest away. So what are we doing?
Yep. He's gonna yell for Cardon and charge in
Love that.
and to intercede between. This is as best as like
Once you
know,
get
like he's
into
trying.
that first space of red, go ahead and make a. Actually, let me double check the wording here.
Right there.
Start its turn. I should have made you roll. But we'll keep the roll for when your turn starts next time if you're still in it. So never mind. You rush straight up onto it. You
All right,
step
straight up
into
onto it.
the grossness. There's a very weird like foot feel, I guess is the best way to describe it. So you've got
Like
first
Jell-O?
off the stone, then you kind of start crushing on what feels like kind of a layer of spores. And then you start stepping onto it, and it's like imagine shoving your foot into a big cup of boba tea. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, yummy.
And yeah,
Where's my straw?
I will say that just because of heroics, you move forward. But once you're in that position, you'll realize that that area is also difficult terrain.
Okay. So he's going to, he has his shield up in one arm, and he's going to swing.
Go for it.
Swing.
That'll hit.
And, oh, interesting. So it has both. If you hit a creature with this weapon, it has disadvantage on its next attack roll before the start of your next turn. So
So
it receives 10 slashing damage.
it'll take. So as you kind of jump in front of it and yell your battle cry, you swing your sword kind of down in an arcing sweep. You kind of catch it in a core, like you're expecting it to feel like very watery, right, based on the look of it. But it feels like you're kind of clunking into something in the middle there. And as you kind of sweep the blade astride, you see a darker liquid start shooting out of the center of it, and also sweep off your blade in that long arc. You feel like you've struck something vital here, and it's
nice.
bloodied.
Excellent.
Tormain, good turn. Arya, you're up.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb up here, and then we're gonna do what we do. Does the 16 hit?
Hit
2 little baby damage.
two
And I'll back up.
babies of damage.
So we've discovered that so far a 9 will hit. We don't know what I think lower will hit it, but a 9 will hit it.
9 is the AC, yeah. I'll just give it to you. Okay, it'll go to it. On its initiative, it will begin by attempting to bite this paladin. This delicious looking motherfucking paladin.
Delicious.
I said delicious. I said delicious.
Oh, I heard delicious.
I did not baby talk at him. We are not in that stage of.
Are you shaming the gibbering mouther? And it's-
I'm just observing
Okay.
incorrectly.
So as it looms forward, it kind of pulls itself up. That center core comes up with like several mouths, but you then watch the central mouth kind of become much larger engage. Inside of it, a smaller mouth, and inside of that, like it's a nesting doll of just mouths all the way down. It slams into your shield as you bring it up to defend yourself, and you can basically hear like a loud ka-thunk. If it had hit more directly on the shield, it might have broken through it. It feels like
What?
the strength behind that attack was impressive. You're kind of like, ugh, as you back off from it. Then you watch it kind of reel back over the top of the shield, drop itself down like those weird what are they called? They're like undersea creatures, anemones.
And then
And you know how like they gyrate and then shoot like liquid or spores?
Mm-hmm.
That happens. It and it fires like a globule of just compacted spores that flies up over your head, hits the ceiling, and bursts over you and Soul. The two
Oh,
of
no.
you need to make dexterity saving throws.
So we have Bless on this, right? Spackley?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
Adam.
should.
Okay, so you're both fine. You get your shield up over your head. You kind of pull your hood down as you kind of regain a bit of sanity from the mouths, and then it will continue to reverberate. I forgot to say at the beginning of its turn, everybody needs to go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw. DC 11. You're blessed. You can't fail, Soul. Torment, I
I'm
need a D4 roll, and you need to roll 2 or better. You're fine.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, Mouther is done. Ronnie, you're up.
All right. Let's try and kill this thing. 14 should hit. 7,
damage.
and then D6.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
Hot.
11. Oh wait,
Okay.
no, it's 13.
So you fire as it kind of like does that kind of like it kind of stretches, and you're kind of like in that moment. Arrow flips out. You fire the arrow, and you watch it kind of cut through what appears to be that center portion, and you watch his teeth and eyes start to spill out, and that dark red liquid starts to kind of like out more, and the gibbering becomes more like really intense and not happy.
Yeah.
Ronnie, done.
Yeah,
It's-
she'll yell out before as she like looses it and sees all that. Finish him off.
You do start your turn in the aura, so go ahead and make a strength saving throw, Soul. Oh wait, no, sorry, you already rolled it. You're fine. You're not grappled.
I'm
That
extra fine.
That one will be for the next turn if it survives that long. Throw up your hand. Another bolt comes from the ceiling, and yep. Let's see the damage. All right. It hits. It looks like it leaves kind of like a large kind of dark mark on it where it hits with its radiance, but it doesn't destroy it. You move away, kind of a little bit of goop on your boots as you kind
I don't
of.
want anything to do with this. I voted against this.
Not with the one who. Tormain, you are in there. Strength saving throw.
Okay.
You feel it
Plus
kind
a
of,
D4.
you kind of feel it grappling at your legs as you start to dance to kind of move to the position you think is the best to attack it from, and you just feel it kind of just peeling it off of the floor, remaining connected to your boots and your greaves. Your attack?
Okay. He's going to try to slash into that brown, gooey part that Ranisil kind of exposed.
That core. Okay. And
Oh,
damage?
beautiful.
Hell yeah. Get him.
You focus on the stroke, and you kind of like look for that area, and as you kind of swing out for it, it seems to connect with that spot, but not as deeply as you wanted it to. You underestimated the depth at which it's kind of in the soup. Okay, and then it'll go to Arya.
Well,
But I will say,
I think
for the
we know.
purposes of Sap, in the process of that, you kind of lop off one of its extremities, like that
Mhm.
looked like it was lining up for a big mouth attack. Hence the disadvantage. Okay.
nice. Look, I have one thing I do.
And it hits.
And you
let's
do
go.
it
Shoot that
well.
Eldritch Blast.
And
Oh,
you
that's
do
a
it
nice
well.
juicy 6.
Yep, I see that. And you know how many hit points it has remaining?
If you say
7.
1,
Exactly 6. So
oh, thank God.
Yay!
you watch as the Eldritch Blast kind of shoots over, passing by Tormain kind of like a arc, and slams into the creature in its center. There's like this moment, this tense kind of breath, where you see it hit, and you're not sure whether or not it's going to do anything, and then it punctures right through it, causing a lot of it to just drop in like dark red colors and like eyes that you're now realizing are actually like more mushroom cap shaped than anything else, and the teeth dropping out look like just shaved stone.
Okay. She was fungal.
After destroying the creature, it's kind of oozing there, so it's not like the mouth are occasionally popping up, but the gibbering very quickly kind of becomes ceased. More of a gargling or like a blurbering as it sinks
Stoll
into
is
the
going to
floor.
put their fingers in their ear.
I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But after its demise, what would you like to do?
Ranaso would like to go in and inspect the area.
Okay. Bronny is doing that. When you say the area, I'd like to know like what part of the area you specifically would like to investigate.
I'd like to investigate this area. He was kind of in guarding this area, right?
It's kind of the whole space.
Oh. We'll just go ahead and investigate back here, though.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and ask Tormain, where are you investigating?
I'm looking at the mouth, or maybe using the tip of my sword to sort of spread out the goop. Is there anything in there of interest?
Okay, cool. And then Arya, what are you doing immediately in the aftermath of the conflict?
Maria will follow Rani and guide her
And Soul.
in her investigation.
Where was the gap up north? Because we were able to see into this room.
So you came from here. You
Mhm.
went in the place where you could see into the room. It wasn't this one.
Oh, it was
okay.
this one over
Okay.
It was
here.
this big one over
Okay.
here. Yeah.
I think Soul will go back
There.
down here to see if there are other things from this direction.
Don't go off too far.
So, Ronnie, go ahead and give me one of the 3 following skills: survival, investigation, or nature. And then, Tormain, you can go ahead and give me either an investigation or a nature roll, your choice.
I got a dirty 20 on nature.
Okay. Go. And then Arya, if you wish to search yourself in a different space, you can, or you can help. And
What-
then,
What's my what are my options?
so you can either help Ronnie, which will give
Mhm.
Ronnie advantage, or you
Mhm.
can search on your own. Someone's doing a crunch. I can hear you crunch. It's okay, it's fine.
I thought I muted myself.
No worries. I just was like, what is that? And I was like looking around like I thought the cat was
I
fucking
have
around.
ice in my cup.
Totally chill. I'm sorry.
You monster.
I only call it out because I was like, I thought it was.
No. Please let me know
Okay.
if I do that. I prefer to not crunch in people's ears.
So you can search with Ronnie. Ronnie gets advantage.
Okay.
You can search on your own. If you're searching the same area as Ronnie, pointless. So you might want to pick a different location.
Okay.
And then you could also wander around and do what Soul is doing, or
I'll search down here. Is what do I use to search?
so for this specific region here, you can do investigation, perception, or nature.
Let me investigate.
Okay. And then what did Tormain
Uh,
get on
Correct.
their check?
10.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, 9. 9.
Math is hard sometimes, I agree. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So it is definitely shivering now. There's a
Okay.
lot of mess in there. It's
Mhm.
it's I would say it's definitely something that turns the stomach.
Got it.
Just imagine. Um, no, no, no. It- imagine no, thank you. Oh,
No.
and then dirty 20 on the nature check. Okay,
Hmm.
and then a 13 on the investigation check. Okay, cool, 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 cool. That's great. So we'll start with the investigation check. Arya, you see that inside of the wall, near the stem of this very big orange mushroom, there are arrows. It looks like they were loosed from inside of this chamber. And as you're kind of looking around with your Sherlock Holmesian kind of, you would note that it seems that they came from over here. And when you look over in that direction, the shadows of the illumination, the kind of like the way that the luminescent mushrooms kind of glow, the shadows create this very horrifying vision to you. You see what looks like a skeleton in armor seated or laying in the mushrooms with parts of their armor kind of disjointed and pulled away because mushrooms are growing through them. And it looks like in the other hand, or in the hand that you can see rather, there's a bow. Okay. And then for the nature check, sorry, I'm also
Oh,
trying
sorry,
to.
sorry, sorry. Hold on, I was muted.
Oh,
So it looks. So what I'm seeing is it looks like somebody died fighting the Mouther.
yep. And then these
Okay.
luminescent mushrooms grew through them.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Spooky though.
Mm-hmm. Might be
That could
somebody
have
in
been
the
me.
other dead person's party. You don't know for sure. Okay, let's see. Well, that worked. Yay. So smart. I will remember that for next time. And for the search, sorry, the very good roll will yield roll a d6 and then roll a d4.
A D6 and a D4.
Mm-hmm.
A 5 and a 1.
A 5 and a 1. So 5 orange cat mushrooms are kind of at the base of these very larger orange mushrooms. Now the big orange mushrooms, they look like they are of the same familia as the orange caps, except that they kind of grow larger and their trunks are like wood, right? They're more tree-like.
Mm.
So it's probably not something that you would be able to consume. Um, and they're relatively common in the Feywild, um, even above ground. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these kind of like uh, heart mushrooms are pretty common. The one was for bear with me here. You find another root cluster kind of on the wall behind it, and as you kind of pull to it, you find that there's enough substance there for you to get one dwarvish root, which is as follows. This again, the coloration is off, but this reddish root has a rugged exterior and juicy pulp-like interior. When cut and made ready for use, the point of severing is usually sealed with a cork to keep the contents inside preserved. Dwarfs in hot mines will sometimes slake their thirst with the contents of these roots, while dwarvish nobles will drink it before engaging in political or judicial matters. As a bonus action, you can consume this item to gain advantage on saving throws made against being charmed for 1 minute. If you are a dwarf, fire damage that you take during this duration is reduced by 3.
Wow.
All right, and then last but not least, you also find the piece de la resistance, a brilliant aquamarine colored mushroom that has a glowing underside to its cap. Similar to the luminescence, but more magical. It also has small tendrils, which are what is the mushroom lattice called? I forget the
Mycelium?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mycelium. It's got like mycelium strands that hang down from the cap that are like slowly wafting in an unseen wind.
Ooh.
And because your roll was very good, you know what it does and what it is. It is a magic mushroom.
Magic mushroom.
Magic mushrooms can be consumed as an action. You then roll a d10 and an effect happens. The effects are wild, magic-y kind of nonsense.
Cool.
They sell for about $250, and yeah, they can also be potentially utilized in recipes.
Wow.
Rafting. Can I point out the corpse that's in here to Tremaine?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tremaine, there's a corpse in here.
What?
You check it
The
out.
mouther?
Um,
Yeah, I would check it out.
It was probably killed by the mouther. Might have some useful armor or weapons.
Okay.
so as
You know,
described,
I'm very peaceful. I don't really,
use them.
mess with weapons.
Sure.
So as described, it's kind of like laying in the bed of mushrooms. It looks like the armor has been kind of pierced by the mushrooms. In one hand, it's holding a bow. The armor looks like it's completely useless.
Mm-hmm.
The bow looks nice.
Uh,
Looks like it's of elvish mate.
Okay. Do I know that if I pull it out, will spores like what
No,
kind
no.
of?
The luminescent
Okay.
mushrooms are relatively tame.
Okay, I'll pull it out.
Okay. You have the bow in hand.
Does it look finer than the bows that Ranny and I are using?
You speak Elvish, so you'd be able to read the words that are on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
It says Einkarad Scouts,
Okay.
and it seems to be an honorific. And then it also has small little triangle mark on it, which to you denotes some sort of like kill count or something to that effect. So whoever this individual was an adventurer type.
Mhm.
Einkarad is a name you know. It's the name of the city on the other side, or town rather, on the other side of the Vale. That is inhabited by elves, or was inhabited by elves. It kind of disappeared off of the grid, and that's kind of something you're aware of, but not sure how to get through to that side of the spiral.
Okay. So I would say, Randy, you're the main bow person. Do you want this? Check it out.
Sure. I'll take it.
Feels good in the
Okay.
hand. Not currently strung. It does look like the string was formerly catgut and it's severed at some point. So you can very easily restring it. Assuming, yeah, you're a ranger, you definitely got extra strings on you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I shoot bows. But yeah, it feels good in the hand. It's definitely, very comfortable. It is a longbow. What it does, you can't be sure. If it does anything. And then Soul, go ahead and just make me a perception check. As you kind of peruse the larger chamber, you maneuver kind of closer to the chasm, and you can hear something to your trained ear that sounds like magic. Magic doesn't typically have like one specific audio sensory effect, but you know that this is magic. Like there's something about the way the sound is humming to you could only mean some sort of permanent installation of magic that is potentially very potent. This could be something like some sort of construct. This could be like a gate that's been manifested. This could be a lot of different things. And without descending into the
font,
hole,
ley line, blah blah blah. Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. Without descending into the hole, you won't know.
Hey, Soul, where'd you go? You okay? Oh
He's
shit,
like,
there you are.
I just wanted to get as far away from that as possible. The hole over there. There's some kind of powerful magic down in there. I can feel it, hear it.
Shall we descend then? Or do you think it's too dangerous.
I mean, can't be any more dangerous than the Hellmaw. And something like that under the city isn't very good either.
Fair enough.
We should probably put down ropes to make sure that we can still come back up too, though.
Good call.
Yeah, I can't fly like my grandma.
She could
Your
fly?
grandma could fly?
So
Well, if your grandmother was a mage, I'm sure that's not too uncommon.
Yeah, that's right.
If you approach the hole and look around, the north corner, or north segment rather, of the larger structure, you see one of those very kind of structurally sound mushrooms. Closer to the hole, you see a slightly less structurally sound, smaller version of the tree mushroom. These definitely look like these are positions that you could securely tie a rope to. It does look like you'll need at least 100 feet of rope to descend, based on what you want to utilize to secure, and the descent being about 40 or so feet down. So, 50 feet of line won't cut it, is what I'm trying to say.
I have 50 feet.
So do I.
Time together.
When
I
their
do
sibling
too.
powers combine, you tie the rope, you lose about 5 feet in the process, 95. You tie it off. Do you want to tie it to the most secure stuff to the north, or kind of the lesser secure but closer and farther away from the yellow mold stuff? Up to you.
More secure.
More secure.
Yeah.
You walk over there, you tie it off, drop it down the hole, and you descend down into the structure.
So if there's any issue with the distance between where the rope ends and the floor is that the case?
Not really. So the rope
Okay,
you
good,
actually
good.
see spill down and kind of land in between two very large mushrooms. It's a very massive ruby cap that does not seem to be emanating any spores any longer, and a very broad, flat purple mushroom. And the rope kind of like hits in between those two, so once you descend down, you can kind of step safely to either with no issue. And once you step onto the mushroom, you realize it is more structurally sound than the stone, it almost feels like. You feel like you are stepping on something very solid. And you look down and
Oh.
forward, and you can see that there appears to be like a tiered segment of mushrooms that descend down to a strange pathway through a slightly darker space that's lit up with glowing, like almost fly-like spores.
Are you saying that they're mushroom steps?
Yes.
Okay.
And I moved your token over to the other side, and I'll snap ping over to it. But once you get down to the base of it, you can see that there are these very almost coral-like mushroom growths that glow at their tips. Almost like they're mushroom stems that have had their caps removed. And all around you, like the ground, seems to be very stone, very structured, as you kind of step down, and you can kind of plop down onto this red bit and move forward. But from your perspective, nothing here looks like it's deadly. It just looks gorgeous. It's almost like someone threw you into the Avatar movies. Did anybody ever see those, actually? Like, is that a reference people get? I didn't see them.
Either what?
See the Avatar movies?
I saw the first
No.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody really besides you now, Chico, that has. So
Wow. Okay.
they're the most popular movies ever, though, so people saw them, I
My
guess.
fucking prime being a basic bitch that watched the Avatar movies.
Did
Okay.
the rest of you descend after?
Yeah.
Okay. let's go there.
Wow.
Ooh, that is pretty.
And,
Don, I can see something that I don't think I'm supposed to see, or maybe
No,
I am supposed to see.
You are supposed to see it's glowing like crazy.
Oh, it's glowing.
So
Okay.
I want to make sure that we kind of narratively do this. So Tormain, you kind of look beyond, and you can see the glows in between, the lights in between. Imagine that dark space that's between the two of you kind of has a lot of light kind of throughout it, but it's not really revealing much besides shadow. And then off in the distance, you can see what looks like this almost brain-like material, kind of squiggly mushrooms, all about this structure of mushroom caps. Floating above that, and I'll go ahead and get the. I think I've got a picture for it. Hold on a second. Gosh, I hope this is easy to find. It probably won't be. I'm the worst at this.
It's okay. I see the token.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It should be, yeah. It looks like an orb floating in the sky with a number of different tentacles that come off of it. One of those tentacles is holding a massive greatsword. The other tentacle is holding a shield. And there are two other tentacles that seem to be carrying other weapons behind it that are very hard to tell or discern. It has one very large mouth in the center of it, but you also notice that there are tendrils that have their own mouths as well. One looks like it has like it almost looks like it's a dragon's head as its like hand that's kind of like breathing at the air, but it looks like it's over exaggerated. And basically this thing is kind of like this nested orb of tendrils that are pulling off of it with a very massive mouth in its center. Whether or not it has eyes is hard to discern from this location. And as you look to it and kind of start trying to decide what you're going to do, it starts convulsing, closes its mouth, and then opens its mouth, and a rush of fluid spills out of its mouth, and a very loud kind of almost like sploosh sound as it throws up a dwarf onto the mushrooms that it then slides down. Once it's done that,
The miracle of birth.
you folks can do what you like to do. You can move at your pleasure, but then it will do something in
Eric,
response.
no!
Why is this under the town?
We found a 3D printer.
There you go.
Basically.
I guess my first thing would be, does that feel like or sound like where that sensation of intense magic was coming from?
The thing behind it does, not the creature itself. The glowing, like with all of the strange kind of mushrooms, and,
Okay.
like ferns,
Yeah, that iridescent backdrop behind it.
that's glowing. If you'd like, you can make an Arcana roll to try and discern it based on sight.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna roll a 2.
That's a 2 plus a
Hey.
1, but together and side by side, which is better than a 2. So what you're looking at appears to be a rift in the magical nature of the material world. What that means is it's not quite a ley line. Instead, it is a raw or natural portal. So wherever it goes, but it could also fluctuate where it goes. Out of character, we saw one of these natural portals formed when the Queen formed it, when Lose kind of engaged with her. Basically,
In the shrine to Einkarat.
yes, correct. When she was like, I can't cast this kind of magic, but now that I have an elf who's connected to a different plane through trancing, I can. And so this rift is very similar in essence with that 21 to that. It is a raw portal of like conjuration, teleportation magic in one space.
Terrifying.
This is a very dangerous place. We should probably go.
I don't like the
Oh,
looks of that.
have to tell me twice.
Cormaine,
Yep.
you want,
Heroically
you want to back down?
exiting.
You want to be like coward? Well, if you're
We
kind of
are
focused on
heroically
remaining,
leaving.
you're focused on kind of remaining quiet and like backing away. You're not thinking about engaging it directly in martial combat. What you watch is after it spits out the dwarf, It turns, revealing the other two weapons that are at its back. And this is where the fun begins. There is another massive greatsword that appears to have a slotted vein through the center of it, and two strange elvish runestones settled
Oh, no.
in it.
Oh boy.
Ronnie and Tourmaine both need to make a history roll.
We're not still blessed, right?
No, you're not so
Trust
blessed.
me. You said history?
Yes, please. Yep.
20.
Successful. You paid attention.
That's a
in,
nat
you
22.
paid attention in
Oh,
school.
great.
You're aware of a hero known as Thornstacia Noddle, who went on to become one of the Grey Order. He wielded a sword known as the Moonblade, which was a rune sword crafted by the goddess Stacia for his specific use in defense of her. It originally had 12 runes on it, not 2. That was until such time as the sword was removed from him and given to an individual named Irith, who wielded the blade and then eventually ended up being consumed into the blade and forming it into a soul edge, or not a soul edge, Esper edge.
Yeah, be careful. We're
That-
gonna
yeah.
get sued.
Copyright infringement.
Stay away, Bandai Namco.
That weapon was then wielded by the king Alfric Rostagar, who used it to defend the lands and kingdom of Rostagar and Parnak for the betterment of the elves of the region, and also of the human kingdom he was formulating. He then died and the sword passed on. It eventually arrived in the hands of a young boy in this region named Sarth, but that blade went missing during the Wizards' War.
Mm.
That creature
Ronnie
has
will.
We want this blade.
Yeah.
We want.
Ronnie will
Yeah.
kind of like prattle that out, being
Well,
like
in
being
this-
really
in this
excited about
moment,
it.
In this moment, it's more of like a jaw drop, eyes wide, and like, and maybe
Yeah.
a bit of a gasp, but it's still, I'm still moving. Hold on.
Not out
Oh,
of
Yeah. A soul.
cu-
Ah, I see what you did there. Well done. Well done. Gain inspiration
Give-
for that, actually. That
Thank
that a lot.
Fucking Christ.
What were you saying, Tom? Was it an attempt to get inspiration?
No, but I guess no, I was gonna say, given the proximity to Soul's family history,
Yes,
is there
please.
any kind of inclination?
Roll
For
history as
them.
well. You have advantage on the roll. And then the other sword, or other hand, or tendril rather, seems to be carrying an axe. Nondescript, just a very kind of large battle axe.
I forgot to
18.
check advantage, but I got an 18, so
18's fair enough. It's everything you know the blade, you see the blade, that's the blade. The creature turns towards the glowing mushrooms, moves towards it, and you watch as the mushrooms kind of bend around it like water being pierced by an object dropped into it until the creature completely disappears, and then the iridescence of the glowing changes in pattern. Basically, it's very this, right? It's like kind of like glowing different colors, a kind of a rainbow band, and then once it's done, it kind of settles on a light pulsing coloration that is not quite the same. And then in its center, it kind of has like a darker kind of space where the portal is now visible. That makes sense.
yeah.
She went to
And
her
it
room
disappears into the portal.
and closed the door.
It disappeared into the magic, and then the portal
Oh.
became revealed.
Oh, okay. You think it's gone?
I think it can come back.
Do you think that's Eric's body though? We should probably take it.
Or is it a clone?
I feel like it's made of worms.
If you stay there for like a beat, you're kind of like waiting. There's like this tense moment where everyone's kind of watching it, and it doesn't move. And the portal seems to have been stabilized, and it almost looks like you can from this distance. It's very hard to tell, but
Yeah.
with your elvish eyes and you're kind of just looking at it, it looks like the portal shows a location on the other side. If you were to get
Mhm.
closer, you could see where it goes.
yeah.
Let's go get closer.
Where on
Yeah,
the map? Wait. Where on the map is the body?
It is literally
Or
at the
the
base
door.
of the
Like-
mushrooms.
Like
It's
there.
it's,
Okay.
it's slid down grossly.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Ronnie would
Oh god damn it,
slowly.
Tremaine! Wait.
Tormain steps forward and just starts moving. Ronnie
Fuck.
brushes behind after.
Soul will
Well,
also do the same,
she's
given
like
the family connection.
carefully in like observing around to make sure, and like watching that portal to make sure that like
and
nothing else is around.
I do want to make sure narratively and also kind of like in a cinematic sense, this is probably the most tense, right?
Yeah.
Because you're walking through this very dark space that just feels like it's very open, but at the same time very claustrophobic. There's a certain
Mhm.
weightiness to the mushrooms and like everything around you that kind of like compacted, right? It feels tight, but then it's very open
Yeah.
air. And then you have the slight movements and variations of these like glowing spores, which makes Ronnie kind of like, what? What the fuck? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Do you want some
Oh
of
yeah,
this?
she has her longbow out, but it's like at the ready to like, it's more of like a comfort hold
Yeah.
than an actual like I'm gonna fuck something up hold.
But there might be like those kind of jerk reactions as you see the lights kind of moving, shifting
Yeah,
the darkness.
a little like.
The ground up ahead, you'll note, does look like it is completely covered in like mycelial structures, and it actually looks like it's over some sort of gap or chasm, but it looks like it is very much structurally sound. And as you kind of test it, you realize that there doesn't appear to be any kind of tricks or anything. It was just
Yeah.
solid enough ground to walk on. The sound of the magic becomes more prevalent to you, Soul, and also now Arya. It definitely feels like there's a weighty amount of magic that's present here. And as you step up to the corpse, you see that it is a partially digested dwarf that has very similar looks and kind of like, vibes to the Eric's you fought. But it does look like he is wounded, like all over the place. And it looks like he has
The ring.
jewelry.
Or-
Yeah, you would notice that there's
Okay.
a ring on him. Quick inspection will let you
Is there
know.
blood coming out or no?
Oh, no. The best way to describe him in his current death state would be everything is just kind of goopy and kind of jellified. It looks like it's been slow digesting inside of the creature that you just saw for
There
some
has
time.
been some putrefaction.
But we would be able to determine that with all of these wounds, he was likely the one that bled all over the house.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
We should take
Let's-
his body back.
We should try to take. Yeah, but let's on our way back.
You could take the
Yeah,
ring
well, there.
if you don't want to take the whole corpse.
Oh, that's true.
Because remember,
Well,
brother
it
said
would-
the ring would be fine.
yeah, but like we want to like respect the body, right?
He's underground.
I mean, he's technically
Just
buried.
scoot
Yeah.
it- Just scoot his body over to like one of these holes.
It's just
While they are investigating the body, Soul is edging closer to the.
Soul's edging.
Portal.
That's all I heard.
You know it. We're gonna get Bandai after us. I'm sorry, I can't
You
help
look
it.
into the portal, and bear with me here as I shift. Inside of the portal, like on the opposite side of it, what you see is weird, but strangely familiar. The structure inside looks like it is a vast series of cavern structures that you can see out into. And the reason why is because there's light inside of the space beyond the portal, a bright, kind of brilliant red coloration of glowing. There are massive crystals that seem to be erupting out of the ground on the opposite side of this space, and the ground seems to be covered with a fluid that's not unlike the gibbering mouther, like a blood-like fluid. As you kind of look into it a bit more, you can make a perception check to see if you can identify any other features. You're looking in there, and the brilliant red crystals are really kind of what's focused on. There's some movement to the whole space, but you really can't tell what's moving or whether it's just like a trick of the eyes with how the light's glowing from these massive crystal shards. The crystal shards look exactly like the smaller pink crystal shards, or kind of like purplish pink crystal shards you found back this way or that. However, these are brilliant red and like very defiantly glowing, kind of like bright. I fucking hate you red. Like it's like Kill Bill eyes red.
My assumption is going to be this is a portal connected to the Hellmaw somehow. I paid attention, even with my 2.
Well, the perception check
Good
wasn't to
job.
identify where it was. The perception check was to see if you could see things inside the crystals.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Do you wanna
It
make
worked!
hold on, just to save some face here. Ronnie, do you want to roll a perception check into the portal? Please roll.
Okay. Hold on. Perception.
Yeah. So
21.
you would see that in this space there appear to be these small little things moving around on the crystals, then stopping, and implanting into the crystals, and like piercing the crystal as easy as a blade might pierce flesh. The creatures in question, with your nature as it stands, look like ticks on the shards, grasping a hold of it and impaling their proboscis into the crystal shards. And as you're kind of looking at it, you're kind of like, so fucking many of them. There's like dozens, if not higher, like into the hundreds, right? And then you catch sight of one that's in particularly interesting, but a distance away off from where you're looking. It looks like it's much, much bigger, and it looks like it's covered with egg sacs. Like some sort of mother queen.
Is there any sign of the giant floating
Sorry.
blob?
This is what the big one looked like. This is what the little one looked like.
Aww.
I don't like ticks. Oh, they have a little skull in him.
Cast
like ticks.
summon
I love
familiar.
ticks now.
No. I love it, but I also hate it.
It's cool, but also not.
Yeah.
Oh man, the mom is nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you wish to go through the portal, or do you wish to exit the location at this point?
Squeeze
No,
me?
no. We have a very important mission of delivering this ring to this brother.
So what I'll do
So,
go ahead.
before, is the creature that went through here visible
No.
in this space, or
No. And
does it
the
look like it
Arcanist,
passed
without
through?
rolling, what you can determine is it looks like once it went through, the nature of the magic changed. So wherever it was like key to go to, it shifted afterwards. Similar to when the queen went through, it then went to the Einkarad lip. So the queen didn't go to Einkarad. The queen went somewhere else. And then you folks went into the portal, it left, thinking you were chasing her, but you ended up on the other side of the veil. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And you're pretty sure that due to the nature of this magic, it may not be keyed to this location forever, but based on what you're seeing here, it doesn't look like it's very possible for anything to come through.
On this side.
Yeah, because like maybe at one point, once
It's like a one-way.
Yeah, once you point it out, you're like, look at those things, and like Soul's like, ugh. One of them kind of moves up to the portal and kind of like starts kind of trying to insert its proboscis through, but it doesn't work.
No.
Oh, well, that's good.
And it doesn't mean it wasn't able to before, given the crystals in the rest of this cave.
Yeah.
Good point.
I would like to leave.
So to speed things up a bit in the regards to the grotto, I would like for everyone to go ahead and roll your choice of either perception or investigation, and it'll just satisfy the other two minor locations for me.
Sorry, I was writing. What are we rolling?
Perception or investigation, your choice, and that'll just satisfy the last two little areas. They're like tiny, small little sub areas. Okay.
I'm ready to eat my tart.
Okay. And okay. So Arya is able to find. Yeah. So you are able to kind of in the process. You denote that one of the areas seems to have more aberrations kind of in it, not the chokers, but instead a creature known as a dark mantle, which is like a thing that caps to the ceiling like a stalactite, drops down, tries to conceal your head and like suck your brains out. So you just say, fuck that. We'll just avoid that location. Nothing seems to be over there anyways. And then you go back to an area on the other side of the whole location, and you find a single mushroom that's kind of rod length, and its cap seems to be a luminescent bulb, but it seems to be more compact. And upon inspecting it, it's much. Oh god, this is going to sound weird. It's much.
Why is this so
much
like
harder?
Pornographic.
But when you pull it from the wall, it is like wieldable, like a club or a torch, and it is a permanently luminescent torch, so long as you don't put it in direct sunlight for longer than an hour. It's effectively.
I'm not touching that.
You got an ever-burning. Well, you tell Ronnie about it. She's like,
I'll
"Hey, why
take
not
it."
Take a fucking ever-burning torch.
I'll fucking take it.
Permalite. All right. If you then proceed to exit, you're just exiting, right?
Did we kill the Dark Mantle? Oops.
Nah. There's not just one. There's multiple.
Oh, okay.
You'd avoid them.
With-
They genuinely are more hassle than they're worth.
Okay.
But because you rolled enough to get through and find the other
You
object,
got through without
you'll still
getting
get,
fucked.
Yeah, you'll still get the experience. So that said, you come out. No thought was put into exiting because I asked a couple times. Nobody.
I was about to ask during the search, did we see another way out?
No.
Like with
Other
those.
than the portal.
You latched that door shut.
Yeah. Well, I was also thinking because there are the guards outside, and us emerging is going to cause questions. So that's why I was originally proposing that we check that loading screen route to see if there's another way in or out of here.
That is the other way that could potentially lead you out. Oh, holy shit. Are we going that way?
I would prefer to check that because I feel like us emerging from this pit after bringing the guards here is probably going to be...
But they can't.
But
They
Do they?
they're gonna
Like
know.
the exit to the pit, is it visible to like?
I mean, us coming out of the house and crime
would make it
scene
visible.
yeah.
Well, it's
But
not,
we have the ring though, so we can say, "Hey, we found the ring." They already know we've been in the crime scene.
They were just going to lock it down so we weren't even going to be able to get in there. But we snuck in before they did that. Because...
I think Arya's attitude would be like, "We've got nothing to hide. Everything's fine. We're good." So if Soul and or the siblings would argue against that, I think she would gladly agree to go to the
I
loading
think
screen
it makes
area.
sense to check out that route to see if there's
Okay.
another way in case other people may have... I mean, there was that corpse
Good
that we
call.
found in there. So
Okay.
if there's another way in or out of here...
so you want
It's
to
another thing to seal.
investigate the loading screen. Is that
Cool.
really what's happening?
Yep.
Okay.
Forever
So
delving.
if this fucking kills us, I swear to God.
Absolutely.
Hey, you know what? I almost got eaten by the gibbering mouther that I didn't vote for. It's only fair.
Mm-hmm.
That is fair.
Okay. So, what I need from you folks.
Oh no.
Okay, cool.
Is your last will and testament.
No, not yet.
What is your total HP doubled?
You lose that many. No. And when I say you, I mean just you, Shabakli.
Great. Story of my life.
All of the hit point damage. No, that's not it. So as you are traveling, the pathway, like I said, it's kind of a water structure. You're kind of moving into the water. It's about just below knee height, and you're kind of maneuvering through the water space. After 15 or so minutes, there really isn't much sign that this is going to yield anything. It is definitely continuing on for some time. So I guess my question at this point is, if you have any questions about the space that you're currently in, ask them. If you don't have any questions about the space that you're in, and you just wish to kind of press on, we can do that as well. But again, I will kind of point out that it's very narrow. You're moving one at a time. I'm assuming Tormain's at the front, keeping an eye out as best he can. Is there anybody who wants to, just not knowing where this waterway goes, break back and pull back away from this passageway?
I have to be committed to this route, I think, after making us go this way.
Yeah, for sure.
Arya will I guess I think Arya would ask the more naturey types, or the most naturey types, like, does this seem like a natural passage? Do you smell anything dangerous? Like, what's your take on this?
That is a great question, and I guess I should get the bonus on the roll for it being my elemental affinity, right, John?
Yes, correct.
Is that just a +1? Is that...
No, advantage.
Oh, okay.
So your feel is that this water is not moving past you very rapidly. You feel like that this space is not narrowing, it's maintaining consistent width, which means that it's most likely wider where it comes from because the water is descending this way. And so far, nothing has shot you a bad vibe here. Like, you feel like this is an okay waterway to ascend up.
Yeah, and it's not like it's going to
sorry.
suddenly...
That's something I wanted to stress too. It is not a downhill procedure here. You are definitely kind of trudging up a hill a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
Not like this, but like kind of like, gradient, right?
Yeah.
So this is like...
So if it's definitely more of like it's longer than a 10-minute walk.
15 minutes
Right.
right now is where we stopped. Yeah.
15 minutes. Okay. I feel like at 20 minutes, Renasil would start wondering if it's actually going to end or not, and wonder if we should actually go back.
If it keeps going up, it has to come out of the ground sometime.
Unless we're going into a hill or a mountain.
Very hilly region to the north.
Yeah. And it is going towards the
Northeast.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're ascending a bit more for about 5 or so more minutes, Tormain, I need you to make a perception check as you enter into this slightly newer and slightly different space.
Okie doke. Rolled an 11.
So you press on with no one kind of interceding behind you. But then you feel a very sudden jerk.
Wait. Hold on. He also has water affinity, so he should have advantage.
Oh, I do.
That roll.
Yeah, so go ahead. Well, it is water related, so yeah, go ahead and make another perception check.
Thanks for that. How about 14?
Still not enough. So 15 was the DC. So right as you step up onto this position and move a little bit further in, the walls widen out for you a little bit, and you kind of do a quick look around. But your curious nature and your courageous, I'm still going to press forward a little bit nature, leads you to step forward, and you feel the weight of your body pulled in a leftern direction. It just feels like everything kind of just drags you to the left. Go ahead and make a strength saving throw.
Okie doke.
I'm sorry.
Oh, not good.
So you watch as Tormain is taken into what appears to be a cross current and is moved north in this very kind of strange looking subterranean pond and moved north on a different route that seems to be crossing across your little trickle.
My gosh.
Probably with a ah!
Remember me.
It doesn't look like he's dying or anything. The water is moving pretty fast, but it doesn't look like it's taking him under, and it doesn't look like it's going to kill him. It just looks like he's moving into a hallway, much like the one you just ascended up, but in a different direction quickly.
Okay.
Ronnie, do you chase after?
Yeah.
Strength athletics.
She's gonna try and grab him.
Go ahead and make a strength
I'm
athletics
not
check.
good at this, but we're gonna try. 9.
Okay. So what you're able to do is you jump into the water and chase after him. You aren't able to catch up to him, but you're like basically the amount of time that you took to jump. That's what's
Oh wait, I'm sorry. It clicked a couple of times. It was a 2.
still the same. You failed.
Okay.
9 was gonna fail, 7 was gonna fail. All these are failures. Everything remains the same. So you jump in the water like, Tormain, just like he did when you kind of, got absconded with by a choker.
Yep.
Your distance from him does not change. The only thing that's basically locking in that distance is the amount of time you waited to jump after him, and you're now both moving in the same fashion down the waterway together in this. You can see each other, but it's occasionally like a scramble for, are you okay? And you can talk to each other, echoing like very awkwardly. So Tormain's not hearing you as well as you're hearing him. Like you're hearing all of his splashes and all of his screaming, and you're like, ah, ah.
This is
And
the
he's
worst water slide ever.
Kind of
I
dodging.
hate this ride.
Slight stalactites,
know,
but there's no real harm or anything. It's moving at a pace once you get pulled by the cross stream that you're not getting slammed into anything. Arya, do you chase after them or
I already rolled my 13, so I'm.
you actually catch up with Ronnie? You manage to get like right to her, and the two of you kind of realize like there's no way back. We're going this way now. This is the way we have chosen. Arya, you are left alone.
I'm not staying here by myself.
You catch
Jump
up.
in.
You catch up with Sol and Ronnie, and the three of you are able to kind of buffer together, but not stop yourselves in the tunnel space because of the flow of the water. But you're all basically right behind Tormain as Tormain. Bear with me here.
Oh no.
Like a can of soup thrown into the rapids.
Yeah. The only problem here is at the end, and it's fine.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not first. Sorry.
I have a shield.
Let me check.
Should be
something
wakeboarding.
here.
Yes.
Oh my god, that'd be so fun.
And then we drop.
I apologize for my bad decisions.
Oh no, you did great.
Happens.
We are.
I think it was a good decision. I think it was just there's a mystery involved,
You maneuver through this waterway,
Mystery.
and then you drop about 10 feet and splash into a pool that's very. It's not deep. It's relatively shallow. Like after you splash into it, you can feel yourself kind of touch down at the bottom, and then when you kind of stand back up, you're kind of like chest level in the water. And then I need you to make a dexterity saving.
For me slipping and falling back in.
No. Everybody else falling on you.
Oh shit.
Oh, just him.
21.
Yeah. So you go. Oh
That's a
fuck!
nat 20.
And you quickly move in the water. And then you watch as Ronnie, Sol, and Arya just kind of behind you. You're entering in through this kind of like narrow space here. And bear with me here. I think we are seeing more than we should be, but
We're back in it.
let's go ahead and
And
Oh.
think of it.
stuff down.
Oh.
Double torment.
Why can't we leave Mushroom Town?
This is not a mushrooms. Or maybe it is. Yep.
Those are mushroomy.
I'm saddened. I have one light blocker in this space, and it's okay. It's a narrow space, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But the black is rock you can't technically see through. And
Oh, this part.
yeah, I just
Okay.
don't have the lighting effects that are normally present.
It's fine.
Okay. Once you all kind of finish splashing down, and oh, good. I'm glad I didn't. That's perfect. You hear the rushing of water from behind you, but it's kind of like a slow drip down and then splash. But you also hear what sounds like more water coming from the north of you, and a voice that is chanting in Sylvan.
Oh.
That's normal.
Did not take that class.
Wait, I thought Sylvan was just the language of the elves.
It is just a language. It's not the language of the elves, it's a language of the Fae.
Of the
Yeah.
Fae, my apologies.
No problem.
Wait, is there Elvish?
Elvish
Yeah.
and Sylvan.
This is different from Sylvan.
It's
Okay.
like
yeah.
it's Sylvan and then Elvish.
They both come
It's like a
from the-
branch.
Yeah, it's the same Rhelonic script. It all comes from the same
Yeah.
alphabet, effectively. But yeah, they're two different languages. It's kind of like Latin to English.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. Same alphabet
It's actually probably
style.
closer to Latin to Spanish, to be completely honest.
Kind
Are
of
we all in one
understand it,
piece?
but not really.
One Piece.
This
Nope,
is D&D.
no boat
We
episode
don't
again.
have pirate gaming this whole thing.
I was told we were not having a beach episode, John.
fair.
Right.
Well, we've had a lot of water. When you look around the corner, you do see what. Yeah. Hold on, my notes are now active, so good times. You do see what appears to be a mushroom, bright red, kind of glowing, similar to the crystals that you saw in the space before. But
An
the
angry
distance
mushroom?
that you have moved away from, well, those were shards, but these are mushrooms. The space that you've moved away from where you were, though, was pretty substantial. So keep that in mind.
Oh
I'm not
boy.
going first.
This way?
Oh. I was going towards the glowing.
I don't know. Which way are we going? Can I go this way, John?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go wherever you like. Just the big, like, dark stone structures, those are what they are. So the chanting seems to be coming from over in this space, kind of far to the north of you. Kind of over this way. That pinged.
Okay.
And the water seems to be flowing from behind you, but it also sounds like it's kind of coming from up ahead as well. You see?
I think.
Go
Do I
ahead.
have dark vision?
Do you not have it on?
It looks weird. It looks like I can only see where there's light.
Oh, that's real weird. I just saw that it
Beautiful, thank you. Now it's fixed.
update token. Stick this time. The sound of the chanting becomes a bit louder. Then you hear a and then in pretty solid Elvish, but with like a strange accent to it. You hear, "Who goes there?"
Good day.
Hi. Who goes there?
He's a drow.
It is
down
I, Termaine. Who are you?
None of your business. How did you get down here?
We were washed down a river.
Unacceptable. I will not give you any chance at escape. Foolish elf. Bear with me here as I put it on the board. The token is absolutely incorrect, but as you kind of look into that corner, you see rising up from the bundle of like bright red mushroom caps, a drow elf. The drow elf in question's hair is a absolute scramble, filled with branches and mushroom caps. He is very just disheveled, is the best way to describe him. And as he raises up his hands, you can see that they're kind of covered with bruises. But it does look like in one of his hands, his offhand, seems to be holding some sort of magical trinket. Ronnie, you've seen this kind of trinket before. You'd identify him as a primal caster, which means he's a druid or ranger. Probably more the druid type. And Arya, you pick up on this as well. He doesn't look like he's too fond of you at this juncture, so he is going to go ahead and roll initiative.
Wow.
Can we try to talk to him before we kill him?
Yeah, you can try.
No, I was talking to my party members, really.
Okay. You sure can't try.
So go ahead and say what
Well-
you're gonna say, just so we have that on the docket before I.
There's no need to fight, mate. We got lost. Can you point us out of a direction out of here?
Okay. So Sol, are you heeding Tormain's request and not attacking? Okay. And then Tormain, you're talking and attempting to persuade. Unfortunately,
gonna
due to
talk
the
his
nature
language.
of this specific NPC, there's no necessity for a roll. Your action is an attempt to persuade someone who is currently psychotic. So
Psychotic.
they will go to their turn.
Crikey, he's mushroom crazy.
Yeah, that mushroom madness.
Or,
Oh no.
God damn it.
You started it.
I did.
R.I.P.
We are where we are because of my words and my actions. Okay, so when it comes to like his position, he holds out what appears to be a similar kind of mushroom stem to the one that Arya found. This one does not glow, however. He then says words in Sylvan, and you watch as it starts glowing. Ronnie and Arya are able to pick up, and also Sol, I'd say, you're able to pick up that the druidic spell that was cast imbued it with primal magic, Shillelagh. And then they will hurl forth a bolt. Actually, no. I'll lead with defense. You watch as that's thrown off to the side, casting the spell on the mushroom stick. Places his hand on his chest. Then you then watch his flesh turn into a very similar texture to the heart mushrooms you saw down below, the kind of ironwood mushrooms. You recognize the spell as bark skin. All right, they're done. Ronnie, you are up. They look like they're taking hostile actions and not heeding whatever Tormain's saying.
Right.
Why isn't Soul up? I'm sorry. Oh, because Soul left just gave his turn up?
Give their
Yeah.
turn up,
Yeah.
We will Hunter's Mark, and do I have a straight shot at him, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Nothing there. Alright, so we are doing longbow 13.
13 will miss. It bounces off of the
Damn.
skin.
Okay. She will. Is this like a pillar?
So everything that's kind of black, just think of it as like a structure that goes up. Yeah. So pillar.
Okay. Okay. So she's gonna like duck behind that,
Okay. All right.
back flat.
Yeah, so we are going to stick to our usual. We're going to pop Bless. I'm going to use a first level spell. And then I'm gonna move over here, and I'm blessing all of my comrades except for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Soul.
So I know the lighting is kind of wonky in here. Is he near glowing things that I can see in the
Yeah.
distance? Because I cannot actually
Us-
see it on the map.
Assume you can. I'll go ahead and just, since we've already gotten to this space, we'll just go ahead and do this and that. So now you can see.
Yes. All right. You know what? Let's try Sorcerer's Burst for the first time with fire damage if it hits.
Ooh.
Ooh, crit.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Fucking nice.
You loose forward. Oh, what's the 2 extra? What's that?
That was the actual. Oh, I didn't see that it did the damage on the bottom
Oh,
part. Sorry.
No,
Oh,
it did, because Sorcerer's Burst doesn't have an attack roll, does it?
it does. It's a attack roll, and then it looks like it actually
yeah.
rolled the damage afterwards,
Got it.
and it rolls another D8 when I roll an 8. So
Oh, I see. Okay, so it
Yeah, I'll
already
take that
added the extra
16.
D8, but it also roll another D8 because you crit. So
Oh.
that was me clicking on it because I didn't realize that was damage. I thought it rolled the attack twice.
okay.
Either way, there's a bunch of numbers. It does.
So as you kind of start the fight and you see the mad intent, Soul, in your mind, you're like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" And then you kind of see this person and the hate in their eyes, and you realize there's a strange kind of like meta connection here. And you look at them a little bit more focused in the glow of the mushrooms, and you see that hanging from the Drow's belt is the head of a Jernaran man. His mouth held open like this by what appear to be like small sticks. It looks like his neck hole was sewn shut, and his eyes look like they have been punctured with sticks as well. And that's just hanging from this person's belt. So in that moment, you're like, and then you think about it, and you realize that's Eddard Rivers. He's the guy that runs the water mill on the west side of town. So this divine and kind of arcane hatred fills you. You point your finger, and this beam of moonlight energy shoots straight through the druid, absolutely judging it in that moment for death, and finalizing on that very quickly. The druid
Jesus
falls to the ground.
Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot more damage than I was expecting in one shot.
Does it roll another D8 every time you get an 8, Tom?
Can you
Up to a certain level.
Because that's what happened. You got 2 8s and then it rolled a 2.
Well, no, it rolled a single extra D8, but the crit would have given an extra D8. So he rolled 2 8s. So he might have actually had to roll another D8.
Yeah, because I guess it is my spellcasting ability modifier, so it could have rolled another 8 and then more for the crit.
The
So
point
you'd be
is,
yeah.
Son.
18 was exactly enough to kill. Great. I did not get the chance to wild shape.
Shouldn't have started with defense,
Probably for
but
I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, he drops to the ground, his druidic focus dropping from his hand into the dirt. You cross over the water.
Yep.
The water here is different than the water you have spent most of your time in this morning or afternoon. This water feels like the cool river water that you've expected from the surface levels. And Soul, you realize that this is the Balthanir River. Like, there's just something about it that feels familiar. You can see daylight coming in from the left, where the water's coming in on this side. And as you kind of take in the fact that that's Eddard Rivers, you presume that the space that you are in is beneath the mill, the water mill. You would eventually find that over in this corner here, there is a rope ladder that does ascend up into the mill structure.
yeah, I saw that on the way in and was wondering if it was up or down.
Then there's another space here, and that's this one. No, that's separate. That one goes down. That one goes
Oh, this
up.
one goes down, this goes up?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Down.
Correct.
Down to Goblin Town.
From the looks of it, it looks like it was added in, um, and it looks like the rope ladder that descends does descend into kind of just a dark, and even with your dark
Abyss.
vision, kind of abyss like space below.
Okay. I would like to check out the dead druid drow.
Yep. So, upon checking, you would note that they have the talisman made from Eddard River.
I would want to actually take that, right?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, Soul might take it because Soul recognizes
Okay,
the
that's fine.
the
I
person.
guess we should
with-
take it so we could,
Yeah.
you know.
You
do it,
gingerly kind of remove the head from the belt. The druidic focus remains there on the ground. And then the stick that they had looks like it's made out of mushroom, but it looks like it's carved with elvish and sylvan patterning.
I don't know what to do with this, so should we destroy it? Should you take it?
We should probably take it.
Oh, quick addendum, because again, I don't know if Andy's dealt with Drow very often in the campaign setting,
Nope.
and he might have misgivings that are of a very racist nature. Drow are not evil. Drow are not bad.
No, that's fine. You said he was psychotic, so I didn't make that
Yeah.
assumption.
Well, an assumption that the two of you might come to will be based off of this description. So let me explain. Drow don't trance like elves trance. Instead, what they do is they actually form a dream. So when a human goes to sleep, sometimes they dream, sometimes they don't, right? This is creating a kind of meta natural place that is separate from reality and is kind of tangible, especially the more vivid dreams, a dreaming, if you will. What Drow do is when they trance, they create a dreaming, or they enter in to a nearby dreaming, and they relax and rest that way. Exactly identical to trance, except that they don't touch the Feywild when they do it. When the elves and the drow broke in this campaign setting, it wasn't because the Seelie Unseelie divide. It was very much because the ideas of a dreaming to elves creates a chaos that is untenable. If a dream is allowed to come into reality, like the dream larva, an abomination, it can very much devastate reality. It's too powerful to toy with. Where the Drow saw a power in that and knew that they could control it if they formed enclaves similar to Elvish enclaves. So Drow enclaves are a unity of Drow who form a dreaming, and then they just live there with no sustenance whatsoever because they don't need it because they're in the dream world. And then they have Drow guards that protect them from the outside world. This person seems to have been in a state of dream madness. Like they basically were infected with some sort of dream entity and had lost their mind.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's take the staff and focus just in case they are relevant later.
Okay.
Was there some kind of rite that they were doing in this little alcove? Does it look like they were just kind of freaking out here, or
They seem to have been chanting, and kind of psychotically so, in Sylvan, and nobody understood what he was saying. But what you'll notice is that the mushrooms that are currently bright red are slowly starting to dim.
No.
is there? Sorry, go ahead. Gio.
is there anything in this area that has religious or historical significance?
Nope,
No.
there was just a guy in there with a person's head.
A guy with a corpse and his shrooms. Got it.
Yeah, the corpse is actually in
Yeah.
the water.
Oh.
There, but yeah.
I was going to ask a similar question if a combination of my arcane and nature knowledge would be able to make any sort of educated guess onto what they were trying to do with this.
It very much looked like they were trying to contain a dream inside of the dead guy's head. Like they were trying to use his brain as a dream salvo. The two of you comparing notes would probably come to this agreement, Arya and Soul.
Okay. Well, that's fucked up.
Use it as a dream. What?
Salvo, like a place to put an actual dream that can stay there forever.
Okay.
So the person would effectively be an undead brain that is dreaming,
Gross.
which to me sounds torturous, but would then be utilized by the person who created it for the ability to tap into dream power without having to be asleep.
And it's clear that these growths here were part of that process in some way.
No, it looks like the mushrooms were here already, but it feels like they've been corrupted somehow by some sort of hatred or bright red chaotic magic.
Okay. Think I would like to clear this away.
Yeah, no problem. If you're starting to clear
Okay.
the mushrooms away, by the time you kind of get to finishing and clearing the entire space of them, you'll note
Mhm.
that they kind of have lost their glow.
Okay.
They seem to have just become simple, kind of reddish fleshed mushrooms. Um, yeah, which
I
but
you can finish. Sorry.
I was going to say, which are, I mean, common. I mean, you've probably seen them in the grocer, right? They're, like very thick, kind of like big old portobello mushroom type mushrooms.
Mm. Still could be good to eat.
While Arya is doing that, Soul would try to make a quick sweep around the cavern to see if there's any other remains of Eddard
Yeah,
before suggesting
the
we head up.
body's in the water, so you're able to pull it out. He looks like he's wearing what he wore the last time you saw him, pretty much.
So, how long ago?
6 days.
This little town.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, he kept to himself at the mill, so I guess I'm not terribly surprised nobody has reported it yet. But we should go up to the mill and see what else may have happened up there and report this too. Does Eddard have family that Soul's aware of, John? No,
Single.
pretty much just a dude to himself.
Yeah. You pop into the
Hermit.
mill. It looks like it's still functional and it's still clucking away because the water's still broaching past it. The cavern underneath, like you remember hearing that like some of their places up north near the mill flooded like a long time ago, but you don't really get any sense or like it looks fine. The entire western wall looks newer than the rest of the structure, but other than that, like there doesn't look like there's any like breaches or anything. Basically, your assumption is he probably went down below to fix something beneath. And again, the ceiling of the cave you were in, I didn't get a chance to mention it because we got right into the meat of it. But it is a bunch of gears and stuff above you. You're basically the house was built on top of a hole, effectively. But you enter into the space. It looks like he's got his work stuff, his work desk over there. Everything seems to be in order. And when you pop outside, you would see that there is a cart laden with grains, like right near the mill, and his little riverboat's right there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it if we already took a short break today, is it possible to take another? Or
Yeah.
is just get one per day? Okay.
No, yeah, you can do up to
So
3. I think is fine.
Ari would say, I have exhausted myself emotionally and spiritually. If we could take an hour to rest here at the mill before moving on.
I think I need to calm down after finding Eddard, and we should probably straighten ourselves up a little bit after being bounced around that river.
Yeah, and I think the map
Agreed.
is technically upside down because it looks like the water's flowing north. It should be flowing
Yeah.
south.
I think
The
this is
druid warped
permanent.
gravity and
Hold on. How dare you.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the. So can we rest in the mill? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Sure.
But now
Okay.
you're in the
I'm
water.
gonna hit that short rest.
If you take a short rest, that's fine. As you're kind of sitting there, waiting, you would note that a group of guards does
Oh,
appear to be
great.
passing to the west of you. And as you kind of get your bearings here, you would note that to the west of you is Watermill Lane. So kind of like this is this bridge is on the Windmill Common that goes straight across town, and then it connects to the left of you, to the west, with Watermill Lane. And so where you're currently sitting and everything, you kind of understand where you're at. And I'll go ahead and move us to the larger map so we can kind of get an idea of that. And yeah, you're at 2.
Okay. Well, should the first order of business be to return that ring to the
Barrick?
wheel guy?
Wainwright.
The Wainwright.
Wainwright.
Barrick?
Barrick.
I don't have my notes in front of me.
Fairwind.
I have
Yeah.
like
Fairwind,
9% of my brain.
Sorry, I was still
functioning.
writing for the encounter. Barrowin Blackthorn.
Thank you.
Soul is also kind of mentally trying to parse out the spacing of where we traveled around because we went pretty far north from that quote unquote loading screen and then got washed down quite a ways so that we are just north of the blacksmith basically. So
Yeah,
it's a pretty elaborate series of
waterways. Your presumption
Yeah.
looking at things is the waterway comes this way. Or sorry, hold on. Let me get my thingy out again. The water came from this way
Hmm.
and is probably like a subterranean let for the river. The river flows this way.
Yeah.
But if it spills under earth, like there's an out or a downlet in the river,
Right.
it's backtreading.
And we were probably going this way
Yeah, so you kind of like
while we were traveling underneath.
yeah, you kind of well you were moving at a northeasterly pace, so you were kind of doing one of these,
Oh. This way.
and then it kind of popped you right
And then
back.
this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
And remember, it was a 15 to 20-minute travel to the cross section, but you were also
Mhm.
moving uphill against the water. So
Right. Okay. What time of day is it at this point?
we're getting into the late afternoon actually, I think. You guys have done quite a bit.
You have.
I'm saying
It's been a long motherfucking day.
it has. We're on session 3 and it's still day 1. Which we love to see. Again, we kind of had a similar vibe with the Tuesday game when they were exploring places. So I love that. Press on. But you've just taken a short rest, so maybe you're up for more. If you wish to dispense of the ring to a party of interest, you can either go to the magistrate to the north, or you go to the blacksmith and meet up with the cop that you hired on effectively to deal with the matter there. Or you can go all the way across town to the Wainwright and deliver the ring directly to his brother.
Arya would much rather meet with the Wainwright directly than mess with
I
the
agree.
cops again.
Hmm.
Okay, looks like everyone gave their assent.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, since we're kind of on Watermill Lane / Windmill Common, do we want to walk across the common, then down Boar Hill to get to where we're going, or do we want to just walk across the waterway again?
Like this way and this way?
We can do that. Is that what we want to do? Okay.
Just don't want to fall into any more water.
Absolutely fine. So as we go up Windmill Common, you have passed by the North Mill before. That would be this windmill here. And you see just what you saw before. The strange constructs outside actually doing the labor. It seems like they're closing up for the day as night or as evening time and work end begins to settle in. You then cross the fields and then into the windbreak near Fisher's Close. After getting onto Fisher's Close and passing by it, you move by Hothgate. But before you get there, you'll see Old Town Lake, or Old Lake Town rather. Yeah, Old Lake Town. So
Yeah.
those who are from here or have been here for a time will know that a section of town was basically flooded and descended into the earth a bit, and there is a town that's actually underwater a bit. From a distance, it's not as foggy as this image is going to let on, but from a distance, everyone always can see that kind of piercing up out of the water from that space is a church steeple. The church steeple in question has at its zenith the Atavian cross.
Hmm.
And that's effectively what it looks like from a distance. It's kind of in the center of the Old Lake Town. Near Old Lake Town is
like the bell tower.
Yeah, that's right. It's almost like an access to a dungeon someone might have drawn.
I
Then
don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. And Old Lake Town might be Lake Town that someone drew. But then 14 being Hothgate, it's basically the remnants of that town. It's a small borough of its own. It's kind of present inside. It's actually like a sub borough because it's inside of the Midtown borough. And it's just a small neighborhood of folks. But you pass by it, just kind of or through it. I'll go ahead and just, for the fuck of it all, if you're passing through it, we'll just go ahead and take a gander at it. Oh, it doesn't have light? Are you kidding me? Why is this not open lighting? I have to check. It has to have a reason why it's not. Oh, the interiors on the side. The interiors are on the side. I see.
How could you be such a bad friend? Oh.
I'm gonna put daylight on because that should be fine, right? Yeah, that should be fine. Daylight. So yeah, you'll basically kind of come into it, from the north, and mostly wooden structures with stone foundations, small farming settlements. It looks like a fishing community is also kind of present here. For context, this is about the size that Rookland's family's village would have been. It's just a small little place on the edge of a pretty small lake.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you pass through
Doing their best.
and you head to the Wainwright.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like this music better. I'm gonna hold on to that one. But yeah, what are we doing when we get to Wainwright?
Not trying to offer him alcohol again.
We didn't know.
I mean, I think that was a nice gesture. Oh, wait, no, he's sober. You're right.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know that he was sober.
Yeah, I mean, I think... did anyone keep the ring specifically? I think it was Tremaine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Here, Tremaine, can I get the ring?
Yes.
Okay. Arya would approach, and with as much tact and kind of gentleness as has been sort of integrated by her as an acolyte of, the temple of... oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Alain.
My mind.
Alain?
Alain, yeah, sorry. She would approach and say, we looked deeper, and we found your brother's remains. It was too dangerous at the time to move the remains. But here's evidence. And she will hand forward the ring.
He takes the ring and he looks at you. Sorry I gave you a hassle earlier.
No.
It was in the.
It's understandable.
Of course.
It was in the space behind the mantle. Outside.
Yeah, you knew about it?
I told him not to go down there.
I don't think anyone should.
Well, he doesn't have the spirit guide's power. He shouldn't have never been around the spirit force. Does anyone else know about it?
No, we haven't told anyone about the stuff underneath the house.
You see him start to kind of well up a bit. I'm a bit sad about the fact that you know about it, but I appreciate you and your keeping it safe. My clan, the Blackphones, we didn't start off as craftsmen. My brother wasn't exactly the greatest blacksmith.
Cade.
You kind of give him a look like, ouch, he's dead. Respect the dead.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at you and says, I'm not the best Wainwright either. Better at managing. Most of the folks who do the work out here are well paid. My brother was more of a merchant in his ways as well. The fact that you kept it secret for me is the Spirit Forge secret is the most important thing, and I ask that you please forget about it. Just do not dangle with it. The balance of spirits has been shifted since it was created over 100 years ago. They've shifted greatly. And my family was given the secret because the original family, the Earth Friends, weren't able to maintain it. They claim their lineage dates back as far as the Age of Heroes. Voldor Earthfriend being their patriarch. I knew that it was a thing that we should keep secret, and if pilgrims from other lands were to come, we'd ask them to prove themselves to us, and perhaps we would let them entreat with the spirits of the craft. Never happened. Never happened with my father either. Genuinely, I'm just surprised that Lord Blaze Hatchet never came down from his mountain to investigate. Perhaps he doesn't know about it. Perhaps it's best that way. For returning this to me and for keeping the secret of my family, I will reward you. I'm just hopeful that you do not tell anyone else regarding this matter. Keep it to yourselves. If ever you find
We
someone,
will do our best.
if ever you find someone you think is worthy of knowing about it, please consult with me first. He'll reach into, his till and pull out, coin in a bag, settle that for you. Well, I guess I gotta go close up and take this to the magistrate. You folks, thank you so much. If you need a wagon or a carriage, well, maybe not a carriage, kind of pricey. If you need a wagon and you have something to pull it away with, I'll see what I can do, okay? And then he kind of
We
starts
appreciate that.
moving to close up. You folks step outside.
Yeah. Actually, before
Mhm.
we leave, she'll whisper to Termaine, should we ask him about Utagul? If he knows about that?
Yeah, seems to be hiding some things.
Mr. Blackthorn,
Hmm.
do you know anything about an Utagul?
Doesn't sound familiar. What language is that?
I don't know. We just heard some things say that.
The spirits have wild names like this. Could be that. Was it something
Well,
that?
it's definitely one that I don't want to mess with, so.
Oh. Yes, I don't think I'll be descending into the depths underneath the blacksmith anytime soon.
For the best.
I'm just going to see if I can't secure my father's sword. Eric kept
Oh,
it
is that the
because
really pretty sword?
a great sword.
The one that's in the shop?
Yeah. Well, he put it on
It's
display,
really
so
pretty.
people thought he was a good craftsman.
Oh.
My father's sword. It was granted to him by a renowned smith. Gray swords. You may have heard of. And he does this kind of thing like he's like he thought he just dropped a name that like was really important, but everyone's just like never heard of it.
Very nice sword.
Renasil's young. She's young and she can get away with being dumb.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
Arya will offer him a kind of comforting embrace.
He will.
No okay.
Insult. But
No, that's fine.
Not really a touchy.
We're here for you, and I want to say that if our major goal is always to keep the people of this town safe, and keeping this place a secret keeps them safe.
I think so too. The Spirit Forge is a fickle thing. The Earth Friend said that the spirits could be very. Well, I guess they're kind of like Fae, right? He says as he looks over to Ronnie and Romaine. They're not all alike. But the spirits that were indentured there by Earth Friend were definitely of a more primordial nature. Potent, powerful. Creatures of the moon. Creatures of the primal energies of the earth.
Aliens.
Water. Aliens. Yeah.
The moon?
Well, that's right.
Alarm bells freaking ringing.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, folks in town are familiar with the legends of the Wizard's War, the early stages of it, anyway, and how the goddess of the moon protected Cardend. So, the moon has always been very powerful here. I don't know why. Some people have their thoughts, but I don't know.
I also have business at the magistrate, so perhaps I or we could escort you.
Absolutely fine. Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Saul.
And he'll kick you all out as he's finishing.
Terrible.
As he's finished closing up, and whether or not you want to remain for him or not is determined by you in talking outside of his contact as he kind of closes up shop. You kind of step out into the autumn air, the creak of the porch wood kind of like stepping underneath you. It's just like everything around you. It has a very kind of wooded feel to it. It's just a very crisp evening that's starting to kind of fall upon you, and the warmth of the interior kind of leaves you as you kind of all step out together to talk.
If the rest of you want to go back to the keep, I understand, but I feel like I need to at least report about Eddard.
Okay, with all the
Oh.
things that are going on, there's no way I'm letting you walk around all alone.
Yeah, I don't want you to end up like Eddard.
Yeah, I don't much like being alone either, but I don't want to be a burden.
No burden. This is our
Yeah.
duty.
We're
As
all in this together.
as you kind of like step to the gates that are open, you hear kind of the sound of clopping come from behind the Wainwright. As two pretty decent sized horses with kind of like northern kind of fur, Clydesdale, I guess would be the term in real life, but they're just northern horses. Kind of come around the back end of it with a carriage, and your guy is on the back of it, and he kind of like gestures for you to get through the gate. Once through the gate, he stops the carriage, drops down, closes his doors. You see him like brandish a lock, seal it up, and then move back to the carriage. And he says, "You're welcome to have a seat inside. If are all of you going, or just you?"
I think we're all
Oh, okay.
going.
Should be enough seating in there. Yep.
Thank you.
Pops back
Thank
up
you
on
so
top.
much.
The carriage heads off across Windmill Cross, or actually, he takes the road. He's gonna go north up Barn Street to Boar Hill to Windmill Common to Watermill, and right up to the. And instead of walking up to the gates of the magistrate, he just rides in, and the guards see him, let him through, and then eventually you come to a place where he kind of settles the carriage and hops out, and he says, "Well, my business is with the reporter. He deals with most of the bureaucracy stuff. I don't know how long I'll be, but if you're not done by the time I'm here, should I wait for you or just head back?"
I think you can head back. You have your own business to attend to.
Thank you so much again. And he heads inside.
Thank you for the ride.
Of course. You step inside to the magistrate's office, which you can see is clearly marked. And when you enter into this space, not sure if the magistrate has arrived or not yet, you see that sitting behind a desk is a woman who has her elbows on the desk and her face kind of in her hands. Not much is really discernible about her other than her bright red hair. And you would know that the magistrate, if you're from here or paid attention, is indeed a red-headed woman named Rhonda Kelpham. And she looked like this one. She's not currently brandishing a sword or wielding a shield, though. But she is in her plate.
And she's a human.
Jernarin, yeah.
Cool shield.
Okay. Yeah, she went for the shield. The shield kill.
Barricade, yeah.
Rhonda.
She looks up. Oh, yes. Hello. Can I help you with something? Oh, you're the Lord Sworn, the Lord sanctioned from Lycoid Keep, are you not?
Yeah, that's us.
Oh, very good, very
So
good.
we'll produce the letter again as proof.
I'm assuming that with your arrival here with the Blackthorn, you have found some matter regarding Blacksmith's demise.
Well, that and looks to Soul.
We have, and he is discussing that now. But I also wanted to report that something unfortunate befell Eddard at the watermill.
Sorry, what?
Soul will probably put the head in a bag so I'm not just carrying around this spooky ass talisman.
That makes sense, yeah.
Hmm.
There was a mad dreamer under the watermill.
What do you mean? A mad dream.
A drow that had lost their mind and was trying to do something horrific to Eddard. Soul will like pause and look shaken for a minute because it is reminding them of their kidnapping and ritual cult stuff. It was a little too similar to what me and my family dealt with, but I know he doesn't have family around here, but the watermill is crucial and nobody should be left unknown.
Yes, Humbert Rollin had mentioned something about it. Said that the cart laden with grains to the watermill a few days ago. But when he came back in the normal time, the cart was still there. They brought it to my attention 2, maybe 3 days ago. You're saying that it was underneath the mill?
Yes, yeah.
Is the same true of the blacksmith? Was he underneath his establishment?
Not directly under the establishment. There's so many caverns all underneath this city. Seems like the waterways crisscross all over.
And if I were to come to you at your Lord Sanction's keep, if I need directions, would you be able to assist me? You're talking to the police.
with which of those?
Oh, either.
It's a trapdoor underneath the mill, and unfortunately, I don't know that we can give much guidance other than that because we were swept away by the water.
Huh. Roll a deception check with advantage. I see what you're trying to do. I just want to make sure it bypasses her.
No.
Well, if I have any concerns or curiosities, I will definitely come back to you and make sure that you do your best to help me in finding my way through. Well,
We're gonna have to kill her.
This most troubling news. I am
No.
very concerned. These are two individuals that bring a great deal of stability to Midtown. Unfortunately, their roles are this time irreplaceable. Do not have a smith in town, but it will be necessary.
What a cop.
Could ask for the palace to send down a blacksmith, but most of the farms to the south don't have a mill like North Mill or like Red Mill to aid them in any way. I will have to see if I can treat the priest of Halloween, to see if she is compassionate enough to allow us access to the Red Mill for a time, or maybe if she has someone that would be capable of running the mill for a time. You've done good work here. I will note this, and I will make sure that it is brought before the rest of the lords, so that they know that your lord is chosen very capable sanction. Yes, and I'm assuming that you've already spoken to the Wainwright, Blackthorn, regarding his reward. We did put up a few notices. Make sure that our runner takes those down. Since the matter is solved.
Did he give us a reward? I know that you said that he took out some
Bag
money,
of gold, but nobody asked how much was in it.
Oh, I thought that you were gonna.
It
Oh,
seems a little
really?
uncouth to count the money in front
I
of
know.
the.
Yeah,
Fair, fair.
a little tacky.
Yeah.
Sorry, this isn't a nice round number. Do you have any more
He
coins?
literally popped into the till, popped back out with coin, set it before you, and then you guys
Yeah.
were forced out.
I mean, Ronnie doesn't care really about the reward.
Elizabeth
I
does.
just want to make
I
sure
can't
that
write
The
it
we.
down
spreadsheet
if I don't
cares.
have numbers.
My spreadsheet cares a lot.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth said, "Sprinkle, sprinkle."
So yeah, the do you remember the price that it stated on the sheet? Because again, I'm just asking you from your notes if you have that or not. Because I do have it.
10,000 gold.
It was 10,000 gold. That's
I
correct.
don't think that it was listed
So
on
now
there.
you own
At
the
least.
palace.
I'm gonna roll deception again against the DM.
And for some reason it works. No, it was a total of
That doesn't. I feel like that's broken. How did I roll the exact same pair?
That's
Really good
fucking
at
weird.
this.
That is crazy.
That's fucking hilarious. The amount that was promised, yeah, so it works, but not the way you think that it works. It doesn't work.
I know. I was concerned because that's really unlikely.
So the amount that was offered was 50 gold pieces.
Okay.
To people who found
Wow.
his position there. Not a shit ton, obviously.
That's still a lot though.
Yeah. Oh, right. Like, I know that people in their D&D brains are probably like, oh, I can't buy a magic weapon yet. But that's the coin you
we're
got.
at 168 gold, so
You were
that
also
ain't
promised
bad.
a wagon.
Yeah.
And a note that I want to put out here. You have some items that you are pretty sure are magical that you'd
Yes.
like to get identified.
Here's the shield.
If you want to leave from this space, you can head to the your choice of either Badger Hill General Store. You can try and see if the 2 Furlongs Market is currently open, or you can try and knock on the Magic Atelier's door before you head back to the keep. Nightfall is kind of in the process. We're like in that sweet spot of evening time. So you're probably only going to be able to go to one of these places before you have to fuck off back to the keep.
I mean, I'm very personally drawn to Magic Atelier. Like, that is, in my mind, pulling me forward. But if there's like a more strategic reason to go elsewhere, that would be great.
I'm getting the impression that the Atelier may not be open, but will be more likely to be able to do what we need versus the other option. So, I mean, it's technically on the way. So,
I mean, even if they're not open, we could like charm our way. You know,
break in and take a wand of identify. I heard
wait
it.
a minute. Wait a minute.
Do crimes. I also vote for the Atelier.
Okay. So you head to the Atelier. You make your way up the road off of 2 Furlong to get to the Osier Lane. And upon arriving at what appears to be the house... Bear with me here.
If there's like a super hot gay man living with 3 kids in there, I'm gonna
With
scream.
another super hot gay man that he's definitely not attracted to.
They're just friends.
They're
They're
just
best
Three will
friends.
say they were
They're
roommates.
best friends, yeah.
Just best friends.
One's grumpy and probably a little drunk.
Well, I don't know if their sexuality is going to come up, but we'll see.
You mean it's not obvious?
I said we'll
Oh,
see.
okay, there we go.
Oh,
If
no.
they're not gay, I will fucking riot.
Look, I said what I said. All right.
They have to be gay.
I said what I said.
Just give it to them.
So You
God,
would
I forgot how
s-
big I made this map.
You would see up ahead in the dark. There's lights on inside, but you see a very strange looking
I
house.
love this map.
It is red tiled. It looks like there is a bridge between a very strange looking tower like structure on the left, and then there's a connected weird tower like structure on the left or the right. Your left, the left of the map, etc. My brain's dumb. The house looks weird. I unfortunately have not gotten to doodle a bit yet on the design of it, and I don't want to use stuff directly from a book. That's not D&D related. But the house looks very strange compared to the other houses that are present, as you can tell.
Are those two little side parts hats, basically?
Yeah, maybe.
They're like chimney structure-ish.
Yeah, they kind of have a weird tower-like look to them, because they have windows, but they definitely have a very kind of
They look like witch hats from here. Is what I'm getting at.
yeah,
She's a hat.
they kind of look like witch hats, sure, but they also look like stone, like they kind of look like kilns. They kind of look like flues. They look like a lot of things that are not houses, but there they are. They look structurally different to every building that you've seen in this space. They look more organic, more shaped, and more purposely designed for artistic intent rather than structural integrity. Despite that, it looks sound. Do you wish to walk up to the door and knock at it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You hear on the other side of the door, "Quiet, quiet, quiet. It's still not time for you to leave your studies. You still have 2 more hours." Kind of from the front room. Then a clomp, 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 clomp. Then you hear a Masana. And then you hear a click as the door opens and there's no one directly behind the door. A space back from that, like a good distance away from the door, you see a man holding his hand up, and in his other hand he looks like he's wielding a long sword.
Cool.
He holds his hand there and looks at you and says, "Well past the time for people to be knocking at doors. Can I help you with something?"
Sorry, we've been adventuring, and we just got back. We have some things that need to be identified. Can you help us?
"Oh, great. Let me drop everything and help you with your problems." No, I'm kidding. Of
I mean,
course.
if you're oh,
How much coin do you have with you, adventurer?
quite a bit. How much do you need to identify?
To find quite a bit.
Oh.
We just got a bag of 50 gold.
He says he kind of. Oh, 50's not that much. How many
Well,
items
we
did you
had-
say?
It's 4, right?
Yeah.
We also got 100, I think, right? In the we have 168.
Yeah. I know. Again, the role playing's perfect. I love that. He goes, 150 gold. Well,
I think so.
he grins and says, "Well, that would be more than fair."
More than fair, exactly. So, how much?
You see him kind of give Soul like a
Family business. I understand how this works. I'm sorry.
This bitch. The look is very this bitch. He would say, "Well, 4 items, 25 apiece, the normal going rate. 100 would be what I'd normally charge, but what with it being the late hour that it is, 120."
Let's make it 125. More than fair, right?
Ooh, I like that. Yes, 125. Nice round number. Very pretty. Very good. You see him drop the sword, and as he does, it just dissipates into blue material and just vanishes. And then he kind of steps out and then shuts the door. And you hear a "Ah!" He opens the door and like leans inside. "Your studies. I can still hear you." Slams the door shut. And then he casually walks over to this cut tree. As you approach it, and not having seen this as you approach the house, you can see that there's a magic circle that's been carved into the flat of the tree. And he says, place the first item.
We'll go with the dagger.
Okay. The dagger was the moon dagger, right?
Correct. With the big gem, I believe.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you see him kind of take a second and start kind of muttering something. Then he kind of shapes his hands downwards, and a pocket kind of appears in like space in front of him, and out jumps from the pocket a small dragon. It then lands directly onto his shoulder, kind of fluttering its pink wings and kind of like, looking around at everyone curiously, but like a cat that's like nervous around people, not like a dragon who's like gonna
Does
eat
it want to
people.
print?
It doesn't, because it's pink and not a bad baby toy. As the pocket remains open in front of him and as the dragon settles, you see him kind of just reach into the space and then pull out a book and then shut the pocket, just kind of moving his hand and kind of narrowing the space in front of him. The book he opens up and then it just floats in front of him and he starts reading aloud words in Draconic, which is a magic tongue.
Ooh.
He seems to be committing to the ritual of casting the spell Identify. After the fashion of him casting the spell, he says to you, "This is a focus. A strange thing to be sure. I think normally these are used by primal mages, but this seems to have been crafted with intent, with purpose, with divinity, with arcana. It's like it's been broken free in its primal strains." This acts as a moon sickle, +1. However, it is not a sickle, it is a dagger, and it can be attuned to by any spellcaster. It can be used as a spellcasting focus for any spells that the spellcaster can use, but it functions identically to a moon sickle.
Oh.
Truly destined.
Cool.
So anywhere where it says druid and or ranger, it says whatever, any spellcaster. Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
A moonsicle typically gives you a +1 to spellcasting.
Yep.
Okay.
So Moonsickle specifically reads as follows. We'll go ahead and go over it. +1 to attack and damage rolls made with it, and you gain a bonus to spell attack rolls and saving throw DCs of your spells. In addition, you can use the dagger as a spellcasting focus for your spells. When you cast a spell that restores hit points, you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the amount of hit points restored, provided you are holding the dagger. It is identical to a Moonsickle
Very
Okay.
soul-coded.
dagger.
Yeah.
That whole destined thing, right?
And as you're kind of like
Yep.
listening to him explain it, and you take it and you're kind of holding it, it's like, quickly, the next one, hurry before I lose it.
There's a shield.
Plunk onto the tree. Simple protection spells here, nothing too out of the ordinary. Looks like it was crafted by a dwarf, I suppose. It is a +1 shield.
Eee.
There was a sword, I believe.
The longsword that came with the shield.
Yep.
Very interesting indeed. Seems like you folks are finding very similar magic items wherever you went, but this appears to have been paired with the sword. It is ancient. I suppose using it might be a bit of a gamble. Out of character, it is an ancient weapon. It acts as a +1 sword, longsword. However, if you ever roll a natural 1 while wielding the weapon, it immediately becomes broken, which means you have to repair it.
Can you carry more than one sword?
Yeah, you can carry whatever you want, my guy.
There you go.
And then the bow, longbow.
Interesting, simple. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. This is... Sorry, hold on. Can't stall forever. Don't know how. It is not a regular +1 or longbow. It is... right. This appears to be a longbow that was crafted with the intent of killing and murder. is very inherently vicious. It is a vicious longbow, which says that if you roll a natural 20 with this magic weapon, the target takes an additional 2d6 piercing damage.
Oh.
That was it, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
I think that was
Yep.
it.
No, there was
Thank
the
you.
broken blade that we took from the blacksmith at the very beginning that was, I believe, evocation focused.
Oh.
Well,
Remember, we found.
just remembering for payment purposes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right,
Shield,
that's fine.
sword, dagger, bow.
It's not any use right now anyway, so I guess that's fine.
It's broken right now.
Right.
And we don't have a blacksmith to fix it, so.
True.
Well then.
He's dead.
I presume he'd already taken the currency from you. He probably wouldn't have done the deed without having been paid in front. So after finishing, oh, sorry. You I recognize gesturing to Soul, and you I think I know points to Arya. You two, not so much. But are you? You say you're adventuring. Are you Lord sanctioned?
Yes, we are Lord Sanctioned from.
Let me guess.
Of
Let me
course.
guess. Of course. So Tafras probably did not instruct another group of individuals to come burdened by his Lord sanctioning. Since he loves so very much to just do what he wants on his whim. I assume that means that Lord Alwyn is your master.
Yeah, that's correct.
That identify is complimentary, right?
No.
No, the Lord Sanctioned identifying you.
No.
I guess that's the extra 5.
Are you doing a bit? Are you trying to say me identifying you as a spellcasting?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. My humor is very limited. I can still hear the screaming and the laughing of 3 very, very in trouble individuals in the house. And it's been bothering me the entire time I've been standing here. That said, please, if you have any future matters that you wish to have resolved, please come at a better time. I
Of course.
do not wish to be rude, but they're quite a handful to make sure that they keep to their late night studies.
It was always a pain when travelers stop by our house as well. I understand.
You see him go, like there's like a literal moment of, oh god. And he'll kind of, well, until next time, and he'll wander back to his house, just absolutely destroyed. Oh yeah, what? Oh shit. And he walks away into his house.
He seems
It-
nice, but cranky.
I mean, we did show up fairly late.
Arya is in love with him immediately.
He's gay.
Arya doesn't know that. Arya's
No,
gaydar
no.
is broken.
Didn't ask.
No. Because in the beginning I said, it may not come up, but then you're like, I'm in love with him. And I was like, well, no relationships.
That's how we get the info. That's all it took. Okay.
That's all it took.
Damn, I'm
It-
weak.
It has been a very long day. Perhaps we should go back to the keep.
Yes, please. I'm very tired and hungry. I still have that tart.
Yeah, it's time to go home.
So after a few, just like an hour and a half or so, you manage to get back to the keep. Lord Alwyn has long since gone to bed. The guards see you approaching. They kind of points bullseye lanterns at you as you approach. And then, get to head to bed. I really don't have much of a closer on this. So I've got to stall for 10 minutes. Is there anything anybody wants to do at the close of the day? Is there anything in particular that you want to kind of finish off with? And then obviously maybe a moment for you guys sit and plan and plot.
Eat my tart.
Yeah, I mean, if we can sit around the table and, kind of pull some leftover roast or whatever from the kitchen, and have a glass of ale or wine and kind
Crusty
of
bread and some cheese, and yeah.
Tea
compare
for me,
notes.
please.
Tea for the teen.
You enter into the kitchen, Tormain first, bravely just stalking in, like,
Grabbing
it's the
crap.
place. But just as you're about to, like, reach into the larder and grab something, you hear
He goes, ha ha ha, and he laughs. And
what do you
smirks.
need, boy? Do you hear from the cook?
Then he would say what he wants, the things.
He very quickly warms it up for you and says he'll bring it out in a second. And then you guys situate yourself. He comes out with a light repast as you continue to be.
So, what do we want to do tomorrow?
That's a good
I-
question.
I am concerned about where that thing went to with something very important to my family, but I'm also concerned about what seems like the Hellmaw influencing those tunnels, those caverns underneath the city. I mean, we know, of course, that there is the entrance to the Hellmaw, but if it's affecting more underground, that's even more alarming.
Can it seep to the surface?
I don't know, but it seems like plenty of things are trying to get to the surface.
Wait, what did it have that was connected to your family?
The sword.
I know, but
It had a sword that my parents that my grandparents had. My parents
the
talked about it, but
Moonblade?
Soul just nod.
But that was connected to some guy named Sarthast.
Yes, my grandfather.
No way, that's so cool. I learned about him in school.
There's a reason why my family lives outside of town.
No, that makes sense now.
But we can't exactly follow it through that portal, but it seemed very, well, I don't know if it did, but the Erics that were there were interested in those crystals, which our bone collector friend said were very weak versions of things found in the Hellmaw, so I am concerned that it's seeping into more areas, and then the portal shifted to somewhere that seemed deeper in the Hellmaw, so I think perhaps now it's time for us to see what lies in there.
Those, the ticks we saw on the other side of the portal, that's in the Hellmaw?
I can't be sure, of course, but based on what was described by the bone collector about the more powerful crystals, they seem to match.
Say they glow red. It was very red in there.
Hmm. Okay. I wonder if there's a more deeply knowledgeable arcanist or historian that can help us fill in some of these gaps or answer some of the questions that we have. There's like a magic school, right?
We were
An
just
academy
there.
or something?
Oh.
Oh, there is an
big
academy,
academy?
but it is a very long way away.
It's far.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up a mountain and then past that on its plateau. Like that's a couple days worth of, if not like a 6-day worth of travel.
Is that Chodi's
Mm.
Academy?
No.
That's even further.
And also, Heisrick Academy is a place that you don't just walk into. Similar to the palace. Everything that's up the mountain is like invite only.
Perhaps
And
a library or some sort of place to do research about?
is there a library in town that we know of?
So, great question. What I'll say is just to kind of make it a bit fluid. As you are kind of finishing up a bit of food and talking, Bart will come in and like clearing some of the plates. He looks at you as you're talking and says, "You want information about the Helma?"
Yeah.
Well, Hellgate's probably the place to go. They've got I think it's Lord Tepris. He has what's it called? You see him scratching his head. Haberdack? No, that's the hat guy. There's like a commerce building. Commerce building?
Hmm.
And everything that goes in or comes out of the Helma is recorded. Yeah. It was started up by the conglomerate. But then
Helma Customs.
when Lord Tepris bought the land that Hellgate would come to be built on, you see him scratch his head. Is that how it went? I don't know. There's just a bunch of people who are selling stuff there. And then there's one building that has books in it that nobody goes to.
Sounds like
Thank
a
you
place that
for
we need
that.
to go.
No problem.
Yeah.
Stack leaves.
I worry about our preparation to enter the Helma itself, but a trip to Hellgate seems like would be a good idea for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
A
if
good
there's
start.
nothing else, I'm going to bed. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sol.
I was just going to say, certainly the best starting point, regardless of whether or not we are ready to go in.
Okay. So you head to your respective places for rest. When you do so, Soul, your dreams are familiar. You kind of have a similar kind of vibe to your hermit vision. But it's mostly just those red crystals that you saw through the portal. And the red crystals seem to be bleeding more than they were in real life in this dream space. You see a massive hand reach forward and grab a very large crystal, plucking it from the earth as ticks fall off of it. You lift this gemstone up to its massive mouth. Bright green flesh covered with more mouths. Its eyes completely bored out of its face. And it bites down into the crystal and then drinks from it. That's your dream. Ronnie and Tormain, as you trance in the midst of the evening, you don't dream.
Mhm.
That's not what elves do. Well, it's what Drow do, but it's not what elves do. However, you do something. You kind of pass your consciousness into the Feywild, the Shazaz, for that time, for that regeneration, magical and physical energy.
Right.
During this time, you feel, and the both of you feel it, this very strange attunement, this very strange connection to the east. And it's almost like in your trance-like state, you can feel a burgeoning, a kind of space that's kind of open to you and the Feywild. It's like when you go into a room and there's a door on the other side, right? You can see through the door. You understand there's another exit to the space you're in. And that's what it feels like as you're kind of in this space. Like there's another way to enter the Feywild physically. wherever this space is, it seems to be to the east of where you are in Lycoid Keep, which means that it can only be in the Stoutwood. You don't have an exact location, just a vibe, a feeling that in the Stoutwood there is a burgeoning. And last but not least, Arya, in your dreams, a massive orange eye stares directly down at you, and you think you're in a dream. Then the horror sets in when you realize you are not in a dream. Your body is completely immobile as sleep paralysis has taken hold. Over the bed, a massive looming figure stares down at you, the bright orange eye. And a familiar voice to you says, "We can't do this here, but we've got to have words, sister." And that is where we'll end the game for tonight. Thanks for watching those that did, and we will pick up next session as we unlock third level. I think we're gonna get third level. Yeah, we're gonna see.
Hack fight.
Stop
Are
in
we?
those dreams.